step into the darkness. Here for all to witness, a rare summer spectacle, the unmistakable rhythm of steel. Drivers must leave fear behind as they pound through a race tempered for the night. Hammered and honed, perfected and precise. When the sparks fly, you can't hide in the shadows. Twisted steel, broken men, and only fire to lick your wounds. When day becomes night, everything changes. Pounding, forging through night's veil of black. As drivers and crew become instinctively aware, the chase is near. Tonight, we change the style, shunning the sun, embracing the moon, where some become legends and others become shadows. Racing, chasing into the night. This is NASCAR. This is Bristol.
And it is still one of the toughest tickets in all of sport. Welcome to Bristol Motor Speedway. Just under 7 minutes until we go green. And if you missed last night, you missed fireworks. We'll talk more about that in a second, but I have to apologize. Whoever is doing the closed captioning tonight, we're going to wear your fingers out because things are going to happen fast. Marty Reed, Dale Jarrett, Andy Petrie, glad that you're with us. Let's start off by talking all the fireworks about Kyle and Brad from last night. We're missing one fact. Kyle Busch has his 5th chance at getting the trifecta.
Yeah, and he's just a man to try to do it at a racetrack that he loves to race at, where he is exceptionally good. He's got his work cut out from him, starting from that 19th spot, but he's just the guy to get it up to the front.
Well, don't forget now, he won both races last year and the first race with this new car here at Bristol. So he's got a good shot at it, and he really is motivated.
Won the truck race, won the nationwide race. Can he win tonight in Sprint Cup action? You know, we also talk about the wild card events in the chase. It's Talladega. Before the chase, it's right here.
Yeah, Marty, the reason they call it a wild card race is because, you know, there's times that you can't control your own destiny. Even last night, we saw Clint Boyer leading the race, minding his own business, got caught up in a wreck. They get strung out, and you think you're okay, and then, bam, it can bite you. So this is definitely a wild card race that Mark Martin and Clint Boyer are probably worried about.
Yeah, and those two guys can just race each other and see what happens with the points. But if Jamie McMurray and Ryan Newman are going to have any chance of getting themselves in that top 12, they're going to have some help. And they know this might be an opportunity, if those two guys in front should happen to get caught up into something tonight, that they could make up a lot of ground in a hurry.
Well, let's get down trackside. Dr. Jerry Punch, what's the electricity like down there?
Marty, it's unbelievable down here. You know, diehard race fans will tell you there is no place they would rather be on a Saturday night in August than right here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Even casual fans have this one on their bucket list, and for good reason. Folks, first of all, the place. Take a look. It is the world's fastest half-mile racetrack, surrounded by 160,000 seats that rise some 21 stories high. And then the race itself. 500 laps of full contact stock car racing. Folks, this one is NASCAR's version of the punt, pass, and kick competition. And here's how it works. If you can't get by somebody, you punt them out of the way, and then you pass them. But when the race is over, you had better find a place to hide. Look, that guy is coming to kick your behind. Folks, this is very, very special. What a great night at Bristol. For more, here's Jamie Little.
And when you combine the stadium-like structure and you add in 43 roaring race cars, coupled with 100,000-plus screaming fans, the experience here at Bristol is unlike any other racetrack. Now, the main challenge tonight for crew chiefs, for spotters, drivers, and we, the reporters, is communication. The key to winning tonight and being successful here is to remain focused amid all the noise and chaos. Marty?
It is awfully hard to hear down there. And, Doc, just be careful if you get close to those guys. If they're swinging, don't forget to duck. 43 cars are getting ready to start engines, and look at this crowd. It is just spectacular for the night race once again here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Of course, starting on pole will be Jimmy Johnson along with Carl Edwards right alongside. It's time now for us to get this 100th edition underway.
Ladies and gentlemen, for the words we've all been waiting to hear, Irwin Tools Night Race Grand Marshal, Delwyn Thornton.
Ladies and gentlemen, are we ready for some racing tonight? Well, let's get started. Drivers, start your engines.
Get a plan together because we don't have much time once they open pit road.
The engines fire and the electricity continues to build. And we talked about all the friction that we saw last night. Well, we're going to see some more tonight. And our up-close in-race report is going to be Greg Biffle. He's got top 5 finishes in 3 of the last 4 races. He's on a hot streak. He won at Pocono. Let's talk to him, DJ.
Hey, Greg, Dale Jarrett, you have a copy?
Hey, DJ.
Hey, Greg, our first question comes from our ESPN mailbag, and Terry in Harpers Ferry, West Virginia asks, what factors do you attribute to your turnaround and the Roush team as a whole over the last 4 weeks?
Well, it's everybody working hard, and, the association with RPM and Roush Fenway. And, we got different configurations, suspension-wise, and all that on our race cars. And, of course, we got the new FR9 engine for a lot of those racetracks. Here we have the old engine tonight, but still running good. And that's really what it is. It's everybody's hard work and a little bit different package. We hit on something that's really working for our cars.
Hey, Greg, I know you were watching the Nationwide race last night. What took place in that race that you might take into tonight's race to make you successful here?
Watch out for Kyle and those other guys that are bred. They're going to be racing around each other. But, the top groove really looks like it's the faster way around here. First time I've ever qualified up off the bottom at Bristol. So, we're just going to move up a little bit, see how the car runs up there. My car did pretty good in practice up there. And, I think it's going to be tough on the bottom. But if you get your car to go on the bottom, I think you're going to be pretty dang good.
All right, Greg, we'll ride along with you. Have a great night. And now Andy's going to talk to your crew chief, Greg Irwin.
Hey, Greg, Andy Petrie in the booth. You got us?
Yeah, Andy, how are you?
Hey, great, man. We saw last night with this new tire that there's some different strategies that might be available tonight. Tell us how those strategies might affect your race.
Really starting where we're starting in the field here, the first half of the race is just all about kind of getting yourself towards the front of what we saw in practice there is, a little bit of fall off, kind of like we expected before, and we're just going to have to kind of play it by ear. The green track here, about 50 laps or so, probably throws a little bit of a curveball, and then obviously it's a lot cooler tonight than it was when we practiced yesterday, so we'll be adjusting on it all night.
All right, Greg, keep him out of trouble. Good luck tonight. Thanks for talking to us.
Yeah, thank you, Andy.
And the mention Greg made about the green racetrack, we had some rain showers roll through the area earlier this afternoon, but right now the skies look good, and it looks like we are going to be getting ready to pull out on pit road and onto the track for the pace laps. Let's go on board. We'll talk about Kurt Busch, Tony Stewart. You already mentioned Greg Biffle. Kyle Busch has an onboard camera. That could be interesting as the race goes on. Kevin Harvick, Ryan Newman, Marcus Ambrose, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. Speaking of Jr., well, he has the signatory effort of winning this event from the furthest back, 30th, back in 2004. Welcome back to Bristol Motor Speedway. Our broadcast tonight is available in Spanish by activating your SAP button, presented by ESPN Deportes. Let's check in on pit road once more. Vince Welch.
Drivers are in so much traffic here that spotters dominate the radio, which means the drivers and crew chiefs have less time to communicate. So when the caution does come out, the driver and crew chief have to be quick to diagnose the car's problems and the needed adjustments. And if you have a problem under green and have to pit to repair, you are in big trouble. At 16 seconds a lap, everything is on fast forward here at Bristol. Dave Burns?
That being said, Vince, there is one opportunity to plan here at Bristol if you have a pit stall near turn 1. Crew chiefs here on that high level can get a sense of what everyone's doing because their spotters will tell them what the earliest pitters are doing. And if they need to change their plans, maybe from a 4-tire stop to 2 or no tires, they've got about 30 seconds by the time their car rolls around to where it hits pit road here. 30 seconds is big at Bristol. Marty?
All right, thanks, Dave. Let's give you the track facts here at Bristol Motor Speedway as we're going to lap this half mile, the world's fastest half mile, 500 times. It equates to just over 266 miles. And don't go over 30 miles an hour, you get busted for speeding on pit road. Pit window between 145 and 155, and there's that graduated banking from 26 up to 30 degrees. All right, let's listen in to Tony Stewart's radio.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to good old Bristol.
500 laps of pure excitement here. It's going to be loud. There'll be all kinds of stuff going on. Everybody stay on top of your game. Keep your helmets and everything close and be ready. Have a little fun. Get that thing up there in the front. Go pick your lane. Good luck.
So Tony Stewart, his crew, getting pumped up for this race, and I don't think anybody else has to get pumped up. How about it, fellas?
Ready, man. We had a great race last night. Only anticipate this one being better.
Pace car brings him through turn 3 and 4 and makes the turn down pit road. On the front row, Jimmy Johnson. Alongside, he has taken the outside with Carl Edwards down low. And the Irwin Tools 500 is green. Saw Montoya get 3 wide. He had to back out of it. He falls back behind Joey Logano. And race leader after 1 lap is Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah, Tony Stewart's able to slip into second. You see Rudem and Logano, a little bit of contact coming out of 2.
That won't be the last time. Jimmy McMurray trying to get into that mix as well. His teammate Montoya right behind him. Martin Truex behind Montoya. Those two going side by side.
You can already see just how this double file thing gets them frustrated. You see the 00 of Rudeman and Logano running side by side. Nobody can get a clear-cut advantage. That banking really helps that upper car.
Let's go back a little bit further because Mark Martin was in that mix for a bit, and there he is. He's got his hands full. There's Kurt Busch. He's coming off a disaster last time out. In front is Jeff Burton. There's the 83 of Sorensen. And here comes Kurt on the high side of Mark.
You know, Mark's trying to make that bottom side work, and he's able to get by Kurt Busch there. See if he's able to move on a little bit further. You see Mark get back to the gas a little bit quicker, but he can't hold that. The outside car has a little more momentum.
He's picked up 5 spots from his 20th starting position, but like we pointed out, he's got his hands full right now with Kurt Busch. There's Brad Keselowski, and look who's right behind him. The 18 of Kyle Busch. Like magnets. Denny Hamlin's there, and he's probably saying, oh, I'm not in a good spot.
Leave me out of this, boys.
You can see just how close they get as they make that exit. It's a great shot. Might even get a little bit of contact as you exit here. That inside car just has such a responsibility. There's only so much room the guy on the outside can give you.
Jimmy Johnson's still leading. He's not under any pressure right now. This is a very good battle going on the racetrack. And there is Greg Biffle, our in-race reporter, right behind this group with the 33 of Clint Boyer.
Yeah, Greg looks like he's gotten trapped down there and hasn't been able to get himself up to the outside if his car is good enough to do that right now.
Okay, now the 12 of Brad Keselowski can look over and say, hello, Kyle. Kyle's saying bye-bye, at least for now.
Yeah, Kyle giving him plenty of room there on that pass.
So at least for the first go-around, no contact, no harm, no foul. The two Joe Gibbs teammates side by side. Let's go back up front, check the race lead. Jimmy Johnson leads by just 0.3 of a second over Tony Stewart. And across the top of the screen, obviously if you see somebody's name in green, that means they are currently in the top 12. If you see them in the yellow, that means they're still eligible to make the chase. If they're in white, they're toast. Martin Truex there, you see him back along with Casey Kane right in front of him, and the 98 of Paul Menard, who's celebrating a birthday today. Already got lap traffic as the 7 is going a lap down. That's Kevin Conway. He took over the ride this week.
Well, that happened quick. 12 laps.
Yep, 13 laps now. So Jimmy Johnson leads Tony Stewart. We've got a long way to go. Stay with us after this message and a word from our ABC stations. On board with Dale Earnhardt Jr. right now, Junior 28th. But remember, last night in the nationwide race, he went a full lap down, came back to finish 4th.
Yeah, he had a great run. He was excited about the way that his car was here for tonight, but trying to negotiate this traffic, it's been pretty difficult for him so far.
Well, remember, too, the sun has not gone fully down yet. The track will continue to change just like it always does. So there is the view from high atop as he tries to get under the 77 of Sam Hornish Jr. Let's go back up front, check in on Jimmy Johnson because he stretched the lead a little bit courtesy of some lap traffic. There he is in the 48, and lap traffic between he and second place Tony Stewart in the 14. Then it's Edwards third, Ryan Newman fourth, and David Rudiman, who had a bout of food poisoning earlier this weekend, is in fifth. Let's get an update on the 48, Dave.
Marty, you see him working the bottom of the racetrack there, and that was one of the things that Chad Knaus told me they worked on a lot with the 48 car. Yes, they can go to the high side, but in one of their longest runs, they held the bottom line, in practice that is, for more than half the run. Chad said that was better than most of the other cars did, and we feel like we can use the top if we have to, but we're really solid on the bottom.
Well, he's trying to put Tony Raines a lap down right now.
Yeah, but you can see just how difficult, even though he's got a fast race car, it makes it that much more difficult. His car's probably a little bit on the free side. Now he's able to make that pass as he clears in there, but it took him a couple of laps to even lap Tony Raines.
Raines running in 37th, so now 36 cars on the lead lap. 2 cars have taken it behind the wall. Michael McDowell and Robbie Gordon just pulled behind the wall as well. Let's move back a little bit further, 1.4 seconds exactly to the 99 of Carl Edwards.
Watching Carl, he's able to run the bottom of the racetrack when he needs to make some passes. He's also been able to run the middle and watch him up at the top. So looks like his car is handling pretty well so far. Jamie?
Well, you guys, Carl unloaded super tight. He could barely drive the car in first practice, and by the end of the second and final practice, he was second on the board. Right now, he's saying, guys, the car's pretty much free all the way around, and that's why he's able to move it around.
Well, he was the last winner here to win from the pole position back in 2008. There have been 8 Bristol night wins by the pole winner. And let's move a little bit further. And Denny Hamlin, all of a sudden, we're noticing he is sort of dropping back as he has fallen down to the 22nd position. Jeff Gordon goes by.
Looks like he's kind of got pinned down to that bottom, or either he's committed to the bottom and it's just not the fast line for him right now.
On the right side of your screen, great battle between Newman and Montoya, or I should say Rudiman and Montoya. Let's get an update on David.
Well, David Rudiman says it's a little bit loose when he tries to get back on the gas. You know, he's 18th in points, 165 behind the 12th position. And he gave a little pep talk to the team beforehand. He said, if we've got to have a chance, if we're going to have a chance to win, we got to win all 3 races. Let's start with it tonight. I'm not going to take any business off anybody on this track. Let's have it together, and let's have everybody's back. No doubt about it, he might not have been feeling good earlier in the weekend, but Rudiman's got a lot of fight in him tonight, guys.
Well, he's never finished in the top 10 in 5 previous Bristol starts, and we'll keep an eye on him to see if anybody tries to rough him up.
Well, you see that 42 car of Montoya working right there on the bottom behind Rudiman. Talked to Brian Patty, his crew chief, this afternoon, actually, and he was telling me that they were running some new setups, some different things that were working for them, but it's all new for them.
Rudiman's talking about his car being loose right there. That's the hard thing when you run up on a lap car. They give you that bottom, but if they race you down in the corner, it makes it difficult. That gives Montoya an opportunity to get back up beside him.
But he can't take advantage of it until now they're side by side. Can he slide up and take the spot? Yes, he does. So move Montoya ahead of David Rudiman, put Montoya into 5th. Here comes Jamie McMurray.
Yeah, this early in the race, you don't want somebody's that racing you that hard. You kind of want to just let them go and you move on and try to pass them back later.
This battle has been going on for several laps. The battle for 21st between Greg Biffle and Jeff Gordon. Let's get more. Dr. Jerry Punch.
Well, we all know Jeff Gordon had an issue with qualifying on Friday. He spun the car out, had to come in and put tires on, and now started in the back of the pack. The mindset with this 24 team is this, guys, that we have nothing to lose. We're not going to run this car anymore, so we're going to do whatever it takes to use this race car up tonight. Whatever the leaders are due, we will do the opposite. We need track position, and we are going to try to get a win in a place where Jeff is very good.
Guys, the 33 of Clint Boyer is a driver we're going to be keeping our eye on all night as he's 12th in points coming into this race. But a moment ago, his car owner, Richard Childress, came on the radio and informed Clint that his brakes are the only ones glowing this soon. And he asked Clint to find another way and save the brakes. So
Marcus Ambrose, this is a battle for position. Ambrose trying to hold on to the spot. Jeff Gordon on the high line can't get even any higher. And Boyer can't get the job done without using up more of the car.
Yeah, and Boyer had a great car last night, was able to make that bottom side work. One of the few that was able to drive all the way to the front of the pack using that bottom lane.
And notice points leader Kevin Harvick slowly creeping back up into the mix. He did not have the best of qualifying. He started 28th in this race. Let's go back up front, check in on our race leader, because Jimmy Johnson has led all 45 laps so far. We have been lean, mean, and green, and the lead is 0.7 of a second here at Bristol. Back here at Bristol, pit crews are already getting ready. That's Jimmy Johnson's crew, because they know some pressure-packed moments are about to occur within the next 50 laps, as we are working lap number 55. Last night's nationwide race went 56 green flag laps before our first caution, and our race leader is Jimmy Johnson. The points leader, of course, Kevin Harvick. He has moved up to 22nd from his 28th starting position. Biggest mover, Casey Mears, has picked up 10 spots. Bobby Labonte is out of the race. He's up behind the wall, as is Scott Riggs, Michael McDowell, and Mr. Bodine. And we got a car up against the wall, just scraping.
Don't look uncomfortable in here.
Then we do have caution, and here we are.
Right, 56 laps, wasn't it, Mark?
56 laps. David Gilliland was the man who got up against the wall, and you can see the stripe.
See that rotor really glowing red on the front of that car. Makes you wonder if he didn't overcook that right front tire.
Yeah, that's exactly what that looks like.
Yeah, with that brake key.
Hit the wall hard. Probably just need to pull the fender out and stuff, but it didn't hit it hard. It just kind of a square hit.
He was running 31st at the point of this contact, 1 lap down. On board with Tony Stewart.
See, right here as he goes into the corner, that's where the tire goes soft right there.
Clear.
You can see that brake heat from that already, so you have to believe that's exactly what contributed to that tire failure.
So Jimmy Johnson leads them down as they come into this very tight pit road. Let's send it to Vince Welch.
Jamie McMurray loves his race car. He says it's really good. Let's don't mess with it at all. Let's see what the track does. I've got good forward bite. I'm getting good rotation through the corners. They're going to put 4 Goodyear tires on it, and that's it. Jamie?
And Carl Edwards was just a free overall. He said he wants to tighten it up just a bit, a half round of wedge and 4 tires, Doc.
Tony Stewart complaining the car being tight in the center but loose off, but it was getting better and better. Told Darian, very slight adjustment there in the left rear. His teammate, Ryan Newman, said the car very, very tight. Major chassis adjustment and air pressure change. Dave.
The leader of every lap so far hits pit road, gets his car full of Sunoco fuel, slight air pressure adjustment. He said the car is rolling a little free through the center of the corner. I've never had that feeling before here, and I like it. He's going to like that pit stop too, guys.
As we see the race off pit road, the 4 tire stops, and everybody pretty much holding station, but David Ruderman picks up 2.
How about Boyer? They're gaining 12 with
2 tires. Yes, sir. Clint Boyer picks up 12 spots, and you notice McMurray overshot his pit, so that has hurt him. We'll see how it affects him when he comes back out. Obviously, this is very important for Clint Boyer, the track position. He's on that bubble position for that 12th and final spot in the chase.
Yeah, this shows me that he and his crew chief Shane Wilson are willing to gamble a little bit to keep this track position. And sometimes, especially this early in the race, track position is worth so much because these restarts can really get exciting, and the further up you are in the lineup, the safer you'll be.
Well, we mentioned the fact that you have to be clean on your pit stops. We talked about it at the beginning of the race, and here's what happened to Jamie.
Yeah, he just slid. He locked his front tires up, slid through his pit box. Nice adjustment, though. He backed up quickly, and the crew really reacted pretty quick.
Yeah, he was trying to help his crew get a fast stop there by getting in there as quick as he could, but these pit boxes are concrete, and you just slide through them. You have to be extremely careful.
Time for the AT&T Fastest Pit Crew of the Year award, and currently in the lead, you'll see right there on your screen, is Jeff Gordon. You can help determine the standings. Vote from your AT&T phone by texting the car number to 2258 for the pit crew you think is the fastest and most valuable. And while we got a moment, let's give you the Aaron's lucky dog, as the 34, Travis Quaffle, will get back on the lead lap, and that will give us 31 cars back on the lead lap. All right, let's get an update on Jamie McMurray, Vince.
Guys, Jamie McMurray came on the radio. He said, I'm sorry about that, guys. The box seemed so much slicker than I was anticipating. It just wouldn't stop. He said, don't worry about it, though. We've got a real good car. I'm going to make up those spots for you, Marty.
All right, thank you, Vince. And I'm checking down through here. And McMurray, he came in on that pre-stop at 6th. He comes back out in the 9th spot, so he lost some positions. Back to green flag racing. Jimmie Johnson on the high side. Here comes Tony Stewart looking to go underneath.
Big good chance for Tony Stewart on these fresh tires to maybe make this pass on Jimmie Johnson.
Well, he got a nice run. I believe he led that lap at the line.
Tony Stewart did lead the lap, so we've had our second leader.
Don't believe he's going to get clear, though.
Ryan Newman's got a good view of it. So does Carl Edwards. They're running 3rd and 4th. Then you got Ruderman and Montoya 5th and 6th. Boyer and Truex and Logano in the mix right behind them.
See, Jimmie Johnson was able to clear Tony Stewart there. Just have to make that happen quickly. Guy on the outside has a little bit of an advantage. See Jimmie go right back to the bottom to block Tony a little.
This might be an opportunity now for Tony to try the high side on Jimmie.
See Ryan Newman trying to make that high side work to get around Carl Edwards for 3rd.
Carl keeps it on the bottom. Ruderman trying to find a way to follow on through from the 39 of Newman.
And this is very important. Ryan Newman, you know, we talked about if Mark Martin or Clint Boyer both should have some problems, well, they have to be there to capitalize. So Ryan Newman needs to keep himself up in the top 5.
Let me update you on something I've been tracking down here. We had 2 penalties. The 9 of Casey Kane was too fast exiting, so that's bad news for him. And the 7 of Kevin Conway was too fast entering. So 2 penalties on that last round of pit stops.
We had 3 wide off turn 2 there for a second.
Won't be the last time we'll see that. Battle for 3rd on the right side of the screen, and there is on the left side. You see the 20 of Joey Logano with his teammate at Joe Gibbs Racing, Kyle Busch, Jamie McMurray in that mix as well, and Matt Kenseth in the 17.
Kyle Busch looks like he has a really good race car here tonight. He was able to work his way up in that first run. Got himself up position inside the top 5 now.
Kurt Busch.
Top 10, I'm sorry.
That's all right. Kurt Busch, Clint Boyer going side by side as well. That is for 8th on the racetrack. And now here comes Kyle to follow up on the back bumper of Brother. While we're talking about Clint Boyer, obviously he's in 8th position. You're saying, where's Mark Martin? He is currently running 16th. A little bit further back, there you see Brad Keselowski and Mark Martin. And there are the points as it would be affected right now. And you can see Mark Martin trying to pick some of those spots back up.
Yeah, I think Mark Martin might have decided, let's put 4 tires. Let's work on our race car a little bit more right now and see if we can make it better.
Dave, what are you hearing down on pit road?
DJ nailed it. They put on 4 tires and made an air and wedge adjustment for that race car because it was loose everywhere. Mark emphasized that a couple of different times during that first run.
And you can see by the pointers exactly how fast everybody is going between those 2. And don't forget about Ryan Newman in that mix. Remember, he's trying to work his way back into contention after last week's problems that he had involving he and Joey Logano. Let's go back and check the race leader. There he is, Jimmie Johnson coming in. He's about a half a second ahead of Tony Stewart, Carl Edwards, Ryan Newman, and David Ruderman, your top 5 here at Bristol.
Back here at Bristol Motor Speedway, we've had 2 leaders, Tony Stewart and Jimmie Johnson, though Jimmie Johnson has clearly led the way for the most of this. You say, Rusty, calm before the storm.
Yeah, I really believe that, Nicole. This is the calm before the storm in my mind right now. It's awful clean racing right now. Nobody's roughing each other up. Had a couple tire failures because of overheating, brakes, stuff like that. I did like what I saw with Clint Boyer. He advanced himself up to the 11th position by putting 2 tires on, getting some track position. I think that was really key.
Yeah, I agree with you, and you're right about the calm before the storm. As these leaders continue to pick up pace and start lapping more and more cars in this race, you're going to see the business pick up because guys don't want to get lapped. Right now, Jimmie Johnson, Tony Stewart are so fast, they're tracking down the back of that field. Already put Kevin Conway 4 laps down within 87 laps. Guys are going to start getting nervous.
Yeah, they look like they're getting nervous. I don't know. It's a pretty good storm going on right there as we look back to find find our leader, and there he is coming up into traffic, certainly coming up there behind Elliott Sadler, who put him another lap down. And we might ask Andy, but as a crew chief, probably the crew chief and the driver right now, because it's still so early in this race, are just kind of feeling out what they have. You know the track is going to change at about 200 laps. This place starts to take more rubber, gets slick, it never stays the same, and that's going to create opportunities for people to make mistakes and create opportunities for other people.
Yeah, I agree, Ray. This is that time of the race. You want to really be quizzing your driver when you get a chance. Although it is hard to talk to a driver under green here, you still want to kind of get in his head a little bit. What's your car doing now? And then you want to kind of track how it's changing. You know, which way is the car going? Is it going loose? Is it going tight? That way you can kind of make plans. But, you know, that calm before the storm, the calm is where Jimmie Johnson and Tony Stewart are. That storm's right ahead of them here. You can see these cars, they're going to race really hard to try to stay on the lead lap.
Yeah, these guys that are getting ready to, that their spotters are telling them, okay, you might need to pick it up a little bit. The leaders are coming pretty fast. That's whenever business starts picking up, and these guys have to start really racing for these spots, knowing that each car that they can possibly pass there is going to put them in between the leader a little bit more.
Battle for 25th on the left side of your screen. Casey Kane, remember he had that penalty. He's fighting back. Jamie McMurray starting to pick up again. Remember, he also had that bad pit stop where he overshot the pit, and he is in that battle for 9th.
If you're sitting and running around 10th to 12th, 15th, you can kind of really pedal pretty easy right now because the leader's not going to go anywhere. He can't make fast lap times while he's trying to get by this traffic. As a matter of fact, they're a half a second off of where they were, Jimmie Johnson is, of what he was running before they caught these lap cars.
Remember Kyle Busch going for the trifecta after winning the truck race and last night's nationwide race. He is right now on the back bumper of Juan Pablo Montoya, and that is for 6th position. Here he goes.
Yeah, he's gained more spots since the start of the race and since the restart. 12 spots or 13 spots overall, but he's gained 8 spots since the restart. Jamie?
Well, Kyle Busch was saying the car just needed to turn better in the center. That's been the problem all weekend long. Now, he said the balance is getting better. The speed is just lacking. They made a wedge adjustment as well as an air pressure adjustment on the last stop, and of course his over-the-wall guys got him positions, and he's moving up. Dave?
Jamie Juan Pablo Montoya got passed by Kyle, and now he's getting pressure from Martin Truex Jr. That's because the changes they made for a loose race car on that first stop made it tight.
Here comes Tony Stewart into the mix again as he is closing down on race leader Jimmie Johnson. They're the only two that have led. In fact, Jimmy's led 96 laps and 1 for Tony.
Yeah, but Tony's been really committed to that really bottom side of the racetrack. He's even running lower than what we've seen Jimmie Johnson here. Tony, this is more like what we ran on the old racetrack before they redid the corners. But he's making that work pretty well. If they look in their mirror, Carl Edwards is coming pretty close to him.
2 Chevys up front. Carl Edwards with the Roush Fenway Ford in 3rd. Then another Chevy with Newman. And here we go a little bit further back, and you can see the 7 of Conway still in the middle of everybody's traffic. Trying to get around him is Elliott Sadler in the 19, going underneath the 56 of Truex. And here comes Jamie McMurray as well.
Yeah, Jamie's making this bottom side work really well, too. Been watching his car. Watched him in the first run very, very fast. Was able to make his way up. That pit stop cost him, but he's working his way back towards that top 5 again.
Should let you know Elliott Sadler 2 laps down right now in 36th position, not having the kind of run he had last night when he finished 3rd in the nationwide race. There goes Kurt Busch underneath him as well. While all that continues, back up front, it is a half a second lead again. Jimmie Johnson over Tony Stewart, and now it's the last 4 Bristol races where Jimmie has led. Welcome back to the Irwin Tools Night Race. Make sure to go to NASCAR.com for all your latest NASCAR information. Sprint brings you an inside look now at the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup on the Now Network. Of course, points leader is Kevin Harvick, as he has locked up his place in the chase, and right behind him, Jeff Gordon could clinch a spot tonight, as several other drivers could. Jimmie Johnson in 3rd right now. And you can see where he stands. Biggest mover as far as tonight, up 13 spots. Clint Boyer so far, as he is doing a nice job. He's up to the 11th position on the racetrack. All right, let's check in on Kyle Busch. We've talked about the fact that he has been on the move. He is now into 6th position and putting pressure on 5th place, David Rudiman.
Kyle Busch just making his car go wherever he needs to. If he needs to pass the bottom, he's able to make that work. If it's the middle or top of the track, he's doing that. This is just his type of racetrack. As you can see, Casey Kane slicing through the middle there. He continues to move forward after that pit road penalty.
Casey shown in 23rd right now, and you're right, he had that speeding penalty exiting and working his way back from that, as he is now actually shown in 22nd spot, looking to get around Kevin Harvick, who's in 21st. Here's again the battle with Kyle Busch trying to track down the 00.
Yeah, Kyle's getting his car off the corner so very well. We heard him talk about it. It was a little bit tight in the center. That may be hurting him a little bit there, but he's getting really good forward bite off the corner, and that's going to help him throughout the night. As you can see the 00, David Rudeman, get pretty loose there as he tried to put the power down.
Well, you mentioned the fact Kyle started the night 19th. When he's won here his other 3 times, he started 20th, 19th, and 15th.
Guys, one observation I'm having from the pit studio right now, it is finally dark here at Bristol. And Ray, when I was driving these cars, when it got dark, the cars started handling different, and my attitude actually changed different. When it got dark, I mean, I knew I was at the Bristol night race. I know how important this particular race is. And when you start the race off in the daytime, you're just kind of logging laps like I see these guys doing right now. But it's like I said, when it gets dark, that's when the weird things start to happen, and the car handles better, tempers start to flare, stuff like that. It's definitely an attitude changer right now about to happen.
That's why you had that car midnight you won all them races
That's
with.
right.
But you're right, exactly right, Rusty. As they put more and more rubber down, as I said, this track's going to change. And now with the sun down, it makes that rubber cooler. With that rubber baking under the sun, it's a little bit of oil. Right now, as it's cooling down, that rubber's going to put grip, and you're going to see, again, grooves moving higher and higher like we're already seeing. The groove is going to be just inches off that fence in the corner.
And you saw Kevin Harvick drop a couple of spots as Dale Earnhardt Jr. You see where he's moved up to 20th, as he's got Casey Kane right behind him in 21st, and then Kevin Harvick. Vince, what's the word on the 88?
Well, you noted that he's picked up 7 spots, and Junior says the car's getting a little better. He said the forward bite is going away a bit, but he's coming off the corner better, so making a little progress. They know it's a long way to go. They've got a lot of stops to work on it, but he's not all that unhappy right now, considering the fact that he's running 20th.
All right, thanks for the update. He's got a lot of pressure right now from Casey Kane, though. And there you see a 5-car mix. Is also trying to get into it is Kevin Harvick, the 16 of Greg Biffle, and the 83 of Reed Sorensen. And speaking of that 83, Brian Vickers had a news conference earlier today, guys, and mentioned the fact that he had surgery done. He had a hole in his heart, a small one. And let's stop that story for a second, because Sam Hornish has brushed the wall and he's in on pit road.
I saw as he went into turn 3, I thought maybe he got in there just a little bit hard and got up against the wall, but that might have been the result of having a right front tire going down.
He was running 27th, Andy.
Yeah, he didn't have far to go to the wall because he was running right next to it. See right here. Yeah, it's hard to say whether he had a tire go down or not, but he did make pretty good contact. See that left rear tire's got some tire rub there where he's made some contact with another car.
And as he comes back out around, and take a look at the battle for 4th, 5th, and 6th. That's Newman, Rudeman, and Kyle Busch. You're on board with Kyle.
Trouble.
Oh, and trouble for David Reagan. The 6 of Roush Fenway Racing is
Coming
into
to
the
you.
wall.
Get the hammers on, guys. Get the hammers right rear.
That was the most important tool last night on pit
Don't
road.
get loud. Let's go on. Go on. Don't get loud. Don't get loud.
Oh, and Regan Smith also turns it around. Looks like he has a little contact damage on the right rear quarter panel. And the word is there may be some damage on the 14.
The 34 hit up.
Yes.
Yeah, on the back right there, you can see quite a bit.
Wow.
Have to clean that up when they make this pit stop.
Boys, we're definitely going to have to cut that off. We're definitely
What
going to
we're
have to cut it
hearing
off.
is that Carl Edwards had contact with the 14. Don't know if it was a checkup situation. We saw that happen last night.
Well, that happens all the time at this track. When somebody backs off in front of you, it's just everything's happening so quick you don't have time to react. You see damage on the 43 car here too on the right rear.
A.J. Allmendinger. So we have our second caution now here on lap number 127 of 500.
Well, like Rusty said, it started picking up when it got dark, didn't it?
And for some of these guys, it picked up a little too fast. There you see on the right side of your screen, David Reagan has made it to pit road. They've got to go to work on that car. He crunched the whole back half.
Yeah, big break for Greg Biffle. He's all the way back to 23rd toward the tail end of the lead lap car. So he gets to make a pit stop here and make an adjustment. Uh-oh. Oh, yeah. Looks like they're arguing over space down the back stretch.
Different view from on board.
Watch these two in front of you. They're spinning. They're spinning. Stay down low. Stay down low. Caution down.
And here comes everybody for pit stops. Let's go to Vince Welch.
Well, in the first box, it's the 00 of David Rudeman. He said just kept getting looser and looser. No rear grip, no side grip, no side bite. So they're going to put a couple of rounds in the left rear and 4 tires. Jamie Little.
And the last pit box on the backstretch here. Remember, there's 2 sides. Carl Edwards says he's still a bit free. Wants a half round of wedge in, air pressure adjustment in the right front to get some front grip, and 4 tires. Fill it up with Sunoco fuel. Doc.
Tony Stewart, first pit box on a front straightaway. Still trouble getting in the corner. They're going to go up 1 round on the track bar. 4 tires and fuel for Tony now. 39 car Ryan Newman in. Ryan says the car got very freak into that run. They're going to go down on the track bar 1 round. Dave, Jimmy Johnson.
Bottom of the screen is your leader. It'll be a wedge adjustment for Jimmy, plus the air back that they took out. He said, I'd like you to tighten the car up a different way. Just a little bit of a wedge adjustment. They put the air back in the right rear. Jimmy Johnson there finishing up on the left side and will again win the race off of pit road.
And there you see Jimmy Johnson had plenty of
you boys are on now. Nice job.
Carl Edwards picks up 1, Rudeman 2, Busch 2, Newman loses 1, and Biffle picks up 13 by taking 2 tires. Now, we mentioned that Tony had damage. We thought it might be the 99. It turns out it was another car. Watch right there as Tony checks up, and the 37 just could not slow down from Tony Raines.
Down, coming back down the track. Got your outsider. Got your outsider.
Yeah, you can only kind of watch what's happening in front of you. You can't control these guys that don't get slowed down behind you. That's unfortunate because it's going to cost Tony Stewart a lot of track position.
So the lucky dog is going to be the 26 as he is on pit road. There you see Jeff Green as he gets back on the Aaron's free pass. All right, we talked about the damage that we always see here and big tools that you need. Let's check in on the Craftsman Tech Garage with Tim Brewer.
Thanks, Marty. You know, you're always talking about the margin of error and the slip factor. The car's dancing around. Imagine this is the wall. When the car touches the wall, damages the quarter panel, look how far you are away from the rear spoiler. If you hit it this hard, it's literally going to pull the spoiler back or even take it off the car, and you can't run around any racetrack without this rear spoiler.
All right, thank you, Tim. Bad news for Jamie McMurray fans. He's coming back in because he had missing lug nuts, so he had to come back through pit road. And Clint Boyer, too fast exiting pit road. This is not the kind of news he needed.
No, neither one of those guys. They were both trying to battle for that 12th spot. Even though Jamie was outside of there a good ways, he needed a good run, had a fast car, but that's 2 times on pit road. He's cost himself a lot of positions.
Let's get ready to go back to Green Flag Racing with Jimmy Johnson alongside Carl Edwards, David Rudeman, Kyle Busch. That's A.J. Allmendinger coming back out from pit road.
Yeah, they were having to do a lot of work on that 43 car to get him back out.
With that penalty to Clint Boyer, right now Boyer back in 26th position. Martin is in the 12th position. If that doesn't change, guess who's back into the 12th spot? The 5 car.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, a lot's going to change here in these next 168 laps, though. I don't know which direction.
Yeah, it could get worse, could get better, depending on how you look at it. Look at this. We had 3 wide for a second. We still do. Montoya had the 24. Jeff Gordon underneath him.
Boy, those 2 tires are just not working tonight. You see Greg Biffle just going straight back. He took 2 tires. We saw Clint Boyer. He was not able to maintain track position when he took 2 tires the last time.
Mark Martin underneath the 16 right now, and it looks like he's going to make really quick work. Whoa, we got contact in the wall. 78 is into the wall. Regan Smith, and oh, that beautiful paint job is going to get scratched a little bit. Got the sponsorship on this race from Farm American. Talking about 22 million people are in the agricultural industry. He was 29th in first car, 1 lap down. So he could have gotten the lucky dog.
Right front tire.
I'd have to say that you'd think he ran over something.
Either that or he had some damage. Oh, man. See the shock. Oh, and Denny Hamlin catches that. I'm not sure that's going to hurt anything, the way he hit it, but definitely had a tire go down on the 78.
Well, we'll find out as we've got our 3rd caution here at Bristol. We're back after this message and a word from our ABC station. We're getting ready to go back to Green Flag Racing after our 3rd caution. as we've completed 139 laps. Kyle Busch has moved his way from 19th up to 2nd place alongside of Jimmy Johnson. Of course, he's going for the trifecta. This is his 5th attempt at pulling this off, and he's had some success here. You can see the wins that he's had here at Bristol. Green flag in the air, and behind those two, it's Edwards, Ruderman, Truex, and Newman.
There wasn't any doubt in my mind that Kyle Busch would get himself up into the top 5. I didn't know he could get to 2nd in 140 laps, though. Pretty good race car and a really good race driver.
He's right on the back bumper of Jimmy Johnson right now, side by side. You can see further back, several cars still trying to sort it out. You mentioned Greg Biffle. You saw him there. He restarted after the last caution when he took those 2 tires in 7th. He came out in this one 12th. And you're still not a big fan of the 2 tires, are you, Andy?
Well, I haven't seen anything so far tonight that makes me want to do it. It just seems like it just takes too long for him to get going. And as competitive as it is, I mean, all these cars on top of each other, it's just, if you're off a half a tenth, you're going to be going backwards.
Andy, I was wondering on the 2-tire deal, is it the temperature cold versus hot with this new tire, or is it an air pressure thing? We know how sensitive this is to air pressure, so the right sides that are going have the air pressure down compared to where they start with 4. Maybe between you and DJ, do you think that's causing an imbalance that just won't let these cars get going?
I think me and Dale were just talking about it, and Dale seems to think that it was this hard tire, and that's exactly the characteristic of a hard tire. It's the best when it's brand new, and has a lot of grip, and that's why these guys can take advantage of Greg on these restarts.
Got some great action going on right there in that 5-6 car pack. You got Ryan Newman along with Matt Kenseth, and there is Martin Truex, and Jeff Gordon is now into this mix. He's up to the 8th spot. Kurt Busch is shown in 9th, and there's Juan Pablo Montoya going side by side with Busch, and he's going on the high side to get around him.
Yeah, great run by Jeff Gordon here to get himself up into the top 10 this early in the race.
Remember, Jeff started 26th in tonight's race.
Well, there's not a lot of people that are better driving this racetrack than Jeff Gordon. He's proved that over the years.
Yeah, but just remember what happened to him last week at Michigan. Got all the way up to 2nd, then had the problem. Ended up costing him a lot of spots. All right, Clint Boyer's also got a lot of work to do. There you see Casey Kane, Kevin Harvick. And there he is, Clint sneaking up in there as he has worked his way already back up into position. Let me check the board here.
Yeah, just about to 21st on the racetrack right now.
Right, 12th in points now as he's gotten enough spots back up. He's in 21st, as you mentioned.
He's just going to have to battle back and on that inside. You know, the majority of the people are running middle to the top of the racetrack, and if you can make your car work down there and you have enough patience, it's a good place to be.
Yeah, you see the log jam is right behind Greg Biffle. He's in that upper groove. That might play out pretty well for Clint Boyer. Can make that bottom of the racetrack work. See now, Casey Kane was actually looking underneath Greg Biffle.
Kevin Harvick also in this mix. There's the 12 of Brad Keselowski, and right in between Menard and Harvick. Harvick has not done what he's normally been doing the last few races, which has been steadily working his way forward. He's sort of been mired back here in the middle of the field. What's the story, Jamie?
Well, he is one frustrated driver right now, Marty. He was loose, so on the first round of pit stops, he came in and they took some air out to help him out. Well, that was not the right call. This team is confused on what to do with these new tires, and before the last round of pit stops, he came on the radio and let him know his thoughts.
We've got to figure out what we're doing with tire pressure. No way we're going to be able to win this championship if we don't know how to adjust the air pressure from loose to tight. We made loose looser.
Going back on that air, going to drop the track bar right here.
Just put the air back to original. We don't know what we're doing with the air. Just adjust the car and leave the air alone.
So obviously their driver is not trusting the call on the air pressure, so they're trying to figure it out and going another way with the track bar and leaving the air pressure alone, guys. So it's not helping the 29 out right now as he's in a big gaggle of cars, Marty.
Okay, Jamie, thanks for that update. DJ, what do you think?
Well, just noticing some of these guys about what Rusty was talking about. There's Jeff Gordon. He's moved himself up to the 8th spot. Mark Martin, who's just behind him in 10th. Dale Jr.'s moved up to 12th. I think these guys started really running whenever it got dark here, so they were maybe adjusting their cars or had them adjusted to the nighttime racing. I think Rusty's exactly right. Things change a lot. Ray talked about how the track changed a lot. These guys are moving forward right now. Jeff Burton's a part of that group too.
Well,
if you look at even with Kevin Harvick and what they were talking about with air pressure, that track could have changed enough during that time that it gave them a bad read on that air pressure. So that's some of the things you could be fighting.
Well, you talk about teams making an adjustment. How about all four Hendrick cars being in the top 12 right now? Remember last week their best finish was Jimmy Johnson, and that was 12th.
And Jimmy Johnson has really been solid tonight, and that's something we haven't. Well, we've seen him run in the first part of these races pretty well and kind of adjust themselves out or not adjust properly at the end of the race. So we'll see what happens the rest of this one tonight.
There is the race leader, Jimmy Johnson, on top of your screen with Kyle Busch now in second. David Ruderman has moved up to third. Carl Edwards and Ryan Newman round out your top 5 after 159 laps here at Bristol. Back here at Bristol Motor Speedway, where Jimmy Johnson has led 165 of 167 laps. And there you see the 48 right in front of second place Kyle Busch by 0.3 of a second. And our points leader Kevin Harvick right now is running in 20th. Jeff Gordon is the biggest man on the move right now. He has climbed 18 spots up to 8th. And the guy going in the wrong direction, A.J. Allmendinger, he has dropped 20 positions. Let's get you updated on Tony Stewart. Remember, he had that problem after having the contact, was all the way back to the last car on the lead lap. He's now 22nd.
Keep your head up, guys. We're still good. I'm still good shape here. So we got plenty of time. We've got a good race car.
Tony came in twice in that previous caution flag. They had to take a brace beneath the rear bumper and a brace in the right rear quarter panel. He came in the second time to fix the crush panel in the back of the car. And up front, challenge the 18 and the 48, Jimmy Johnson under attack, guys.
He certainly is by Kyle Busch. They're side by side. Here we go.
That was a really nice move Kyle Busch made on Jimmy Johnson.
Well, that's just a perfect pass right there. He saw where Jimmy was going to get slowed down a little bit by the lap car. Just took advantage of that high side and was able to go around and make the pass all the way to the lead. 170 laps.
He becomes our 4th different leader, our 5th lead change, as he now tries to open up some air.
Yeah, it looks like this is going to force Jimmy Johnson and Chad Knaus to adjust on this car. Like we talked about earlier, will they make the right adjustments and be able to get this car where he can win?
On the bigger racetracks, that's what we've seen here recently, that's been something that's kind of been their nemesis that they have when they had to start adjusting. We see this pass being made. See, Kyle just got to the right rear, forced Jimmy to hold it down. Then the nice run off the corner gets him to the lead.
Let's check in with Dave Burns.
And I like the discussion of whether or not they will adjust to that higher line, because on Friday's qualifying session, Jimmy and Chad stood atop their truck and watched other drivers move to the high side in qualifying and fail. They had errors. They said, so let's stick to our plan of running the low side during qualifying. And he put it on the pole. And as I mentioned earlier, they worked a lot on the low side. So I expect them to stay there unless they get really lost and have to move up there, guys.
Well, and you saw both of them go around David Gilliland. He is now 3 laps down in 32nd position. Let's check in on Mark Martin, Casey Kane, as those two are going after it. Jeff Burton's in this mix as well. Burton's 13th, Martin 14th, Kane in 15th.
Jeff Burton's been able to make his move a little more forward, too. I commented to Andy earlier when we were doing commercials that Jeff Burton was really surprising me that he wasn't running any better. But I think that goes back, Andy, to they were set up more for this nighttime.
Yeah, I heard Rusty say when that sun goes down, things change, and they do. And, he was very, very patient. They made a good pit stop and made it probably a good adjustment, and now he's starting to go the right way. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is another one that is making a nice recovery here. He's all the way up to the top 10.
Well, another guy who's recovering is right there in the 33, Clint Boyer. Remember, he got the penalty, and Mark Martin, you just saw him wiggle there, and if Denny Hamlin gives him enough vision out there's rear view mirror, he is going to see the 33 coming.
Yeah, we see Casey Kane in this mix, too, after his pit road deal. He made a nice recovery. Got himself up there in the 14th spot, so plenty of time to get to work their way to the front.
There is Kane. And right behind him, Denny Hamlin and Mark Martin.
Yeah, we see Mark keeps sliding back here. He was up inside the top 10 probably 30 laps ago. Now he's falling back, and the guy that he's going to see in his rearview mirror next is the guy he's racing for that 12th spot. So he knows that with Boyer right there behind him that he is sitting outside that top 12 again.
The action continues here at Bristol Motor Speedway as there you see A.J. Allmendinger as he's had his issues tonight. And he's got Mark Martin going around him. Allmendinger right now was 2 laps down in 30th position. Kyle Busch working traffic. That's Tony Raines in the 37. Here comes the 48 of Jimmy Johnson underneath as well. There's your top 5. We've clicked off 183 here at Bristol. Does Kyle get the trifecta? Stay with us to find out. That one on ESPN. That looks slow car. Scott Speed is into the wall.
Another right front, it looks like.
Get you down.
Caution is out. Don't know.
We got a tire go down, Scott. Yep.
Yep, and there is the right front tire and the damage on the right side. He was 25th when this happened. Now, right as we went to break, thought we saw the 48 maybe have a little bit of contact. And
yeah, he did make some contact with the lap car on that right front fender.
It's Tony Raines. And then just before we had the caution, David Rudiman was able to get around him.
It does take much. I'm watching these lap times, and they're all within like a tenth of a second. So you lose just a couple of hundredths, it can show up out there.
This is the view from Kyle Busch's car. There's the 82.
Slow up on the edge. Clear to the top. Pushes out.
So they're going to head down pit road. Let's send it to Vince.
Well, David Rudiman's had a good night tonight. He's been running in the top 5 all evening long, but he's had a real loose race car. He reported just before this stop, it's the best it's been all night. They're still going to take a half pound out of the right rear, but otherwise it's been good. Jamie?
Kyle Busch says he gets loose when he's in traffic, but when he's out front, it's all good. He wants to leave it alone. It's 4 tires and Sunoco fuel. They have been getting the job done on pit road tonight. Doc?
Ryan Newman says the car starts tight and starts getting loose in a hurry. And he said, in fact, it gets so loose, he loses confidence getting the car in the corner. So they're going to make a wedge adjustment, take a half a pound of air pressure out of the left front on the 39 car. Dave.
Second place, Jimmy Johnson needs his car to be tightened up a little bit on the gas. That'll be a track bar adjustment for Jimmy. Can his crew beat one of the hottest crews on pit road, which has been Kyle Busch's, and get the lead back? Jimmy Johnson's team finishing up on the left-hand side. It'll be close.
Hard.
The race off pit road goes to Jimmy Johnson. Kyle Busch drops the spot, as does David Rudiman. And Matt Kenseth picks up 3, and all those cars made 4 tire changes. I think they got your message there, Andy. Here's the race off pit road. Take a look. That's how close it was.
That number 1 pit stall really pays off for the 48.
And the reaction of the crew? Yeah, they're breathing a little easier. Stay with us. We'll be back after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Back here at the Irwin Tools night race at Bristol. We are getting ready to go green, and it's out with Jimmy Johnson in front of Kyle Busch, Carl Edwards, David Rudiman, Martin Truex. Whoa, Kyle, there we go. This is going to get dicey. Jimmy backs out of it. He almost gets rear-ended from the 99 of Edwards.
Man.
Rudiman said, beginning of the broadcast, said he wasn't going to take any prisoners tonight. And boy, food poisoning did something for him. He is second place, but, you know, that brings up one thing. 500 laps. Is he going to be able to go the distance?
I'm sure he'll tough it out, but that's difficult. Anytime that you haven't been able to get yourself properly prepared for this race, it's the most physically demanding race that we have on the circuit.
Well, he is in second place right now behind Kyle Busch. There is Jeff Gordon. Let's go back. Hold on. We're going to wait for this because Rudiman's going for the lead.
Yeah, you see, he got just a little bit loose trying to make that pass on the bottom. He's got a fast car really going through the center of the corner. He's got a tough man right there in front of him to make a pass on for the lead.
Of course, David won back at Chicagoland. Right now, he'd like to get his second victory of the year. Vince, what's going on?
Well, and guys, it shouldn't be a surprise that Rudiman is running well here tonight, because if you'll remember back to the spring, he was running second place at the time that his engine cut loose. So he runs well here. There was some concern about it today, this weekend, I should say, because of the fact that he had been ill, but he got back in the car for the final practice, qualified it well. He's mentioned nothing about feeling ill here tonight, and I'd say that car is feeling pretty healthy too, as Jimmy Johnson now comes up to the back bumper of the 00.
I think running up front will make you feel better.
I promise you, that's the best medicine a driver can ever have.
Jimmy Johnson trying to get back into the mix right now. This is the furthest behind he's been all night. He led 174 laps. Kyle Busch has led 29 and counting. Travis Quabbel and Tony Stewart have each led 1. We've had a total of 7 lead changes. And here comes Jimmy trying to take a peek underneath the 00.
Yeah, this is what I want to see after they made adjustments on this 48 car. How's this car going to react? Are they going to be able to drive their way back to the front?
Now, we got to tell you, Kevin Harvick had to come back into pit road. They took the sway bar, looked like disconnected. What's the report from down there, Jamie?
Well, remember, he's been saying how loose he is all night and how confused they've been on what adjustments to make. So on that round of pit stops at 197, they came in and made an air pressure wedge adjustment, and they tried to unhook the rear bar and failed. So he had to come back around on lap 196 and redo it. So it was a couple laps difference there. They actually got it unhooked finally, but he slipped back about 7 positions, guys. Let's go over to Tim Brewer. He can explain more on unhooking the rear bar, Tim.
Thanks, Jamie. What you put the rear anti-roll bar on the car for is to make the car rotate through the center of the corner. But we use these quick pins, and what happens right here, when you push the button, this pin comes out of the bar, and what happens, you unload it. And what that's going to do, that should tighten the car up. Not make it rotate through the corner, going to tighten the car up there and help the forward bite from the center of the corner off.
Thanks, Tim, over in the Craftsman Tech Garage. Harvick running 27th. He's the last car on the lead lap. As we move a little bit further forward in the field, there is Clint Boyer along with his teammate Jeff Burton, and then Denny Hamlin right behind. That is 12th and 13th. Let's go back to this battle for second place between David Ruderman and Jimmy Johnson, and here comes Jimmy.
Yeah, Ruderman's car looks like it's a little looser this run with this set of tires. Andy.
Yeah, he's been the one that's been best in the longer run, so I was kind of surprised to see him jump out there that quick on those tires, but it looks like his car is a little bit free.
Dave, what's the latest on the 48? Whoa, look out, we've got a spin on track, and gathering it up was the 14 of Tony Stewart. This is a crash that looked like it should have happened, and somehow he managed to keep it from going all the way around. He's lost a bit of momentum. Let's go back, take another look. I just caught the tail end of it. There he goes.
Yeah, a lot of damage to that car.
Yeah, that's a crash right there. He's driven his way up into the top 20.
Inside.
Come on. Quick here.
Clear low.
Green flag is still out, and here comes the 99 of Carl Edwards approaching on David Ruderman. Jimmy Johnson has gotten around David. So now this is a battle for third. And Juan Pablo Montoya, you just got a glimpse of him there in the 42. He is running in 5th, and here comes Jeff Gordon in 6th. So those two cars trying to get into the mix. Next time by, let's give you the speeds at the line. See who the fastest car on the track is right now. There's your race leader, Kyle Busch.
Well, right now, Kyle Busch has all this free track in front of him, but Jimmy Johnson does have the fastest lap that time by.
You see where they are running. Dale Earnhardt Jr. now up to 10th position. That car has been slowly but steadily getting better as the night has gone on. And there you see, that's how quickly the laps fly by. Just about 15.5 seconds is all it takes to lap here at Bristol. Back here at Bristol Motor Speedway, where the laps are flying by, we are just about to halfway at the 500 laps. On board right now with Kyle Busch. He is our focus in our Gillette Pro Guide profile as he started 19th, and he's looking for the trifecta. Won the truck race on Wednesday night, Nationwide Series race last night, and is leading now and has scored more points here in the last 10 races than any other driver. So the odds are he may become the first ever to sweep all 3. Tony Stewart did go to pit road with the damage that he had on that spin that ended up into the wall, and he is now right now 2 laps down, and there he is. Doc, what's the latest?
Well, Tony Stewart, the people behind him said, look like you might have a right rear tire coming apart from the spin. He probably cut part of the tire and maybe pulled some rubber out, and drivers around him have reported they thought the tire was coming apart. So Tony came on the pit road to change right side tires. His night just went from bad to worse. Back in the field now, way back in traffic.
Yeah, Tony's shown 29th now, 3 laps down. And remember, he entered tonight with 5 straight top 10 finishes, and he could take a big slam in the points right now if he can't recover.
Here's a guy on the move, Jamie McMurray. You know, he's had twice on pit road, he's had problems, but he's worked his way back into the 14th spot, trying to take that 13th spot away from Jeff Burton. Going to do that. Fast race car, and he still has plenty of time left.
Just ran that last lap at 16.8 seconds with traffic. A little bit further, there is Greg Biffle and Casey Kane. That also a battle for 15th position on the racetrack.
Yeah, Biffle looks like he has his car actually a little bit better now. He's been able to make a few passes, and they'll keep working on that. Casey Kane's going to try to work the inside.
Well, he's got 4 tires this time. That 2-tire strategy they tried, it got them some track position, but it looked like they kind of balanced back out at the end of that run where they started.
Well, he's bouncing back from that penalty he had back on lap 61. We're working lap number 233 right now.
Let's talk about Jamie McMurray right up in front of this. He's running as high on the racetrack as anybody is, especially anybody that's running fast times.
There's Jamie on the left side of the screen. And here goes Casey trying to go underneath the 16 of Greg Biffle. Looks like he may get him this time, and he does.
Well, Casey's another one that had a pit road penalty, a speeding there, put him at the back of the pack, but still trying to work his way forward.
Martin Truex, you saw on the right-hand side of your screen, getting a little pressure from Joey Logano. There's the view from up above. And the 47 of Marcus Ambrose saying, you guys give me some space and I'll pass both of you.
That's what's happened since they redesigned this racetrack and made the progressive banking. Obviously, see, we have a lot more room to race. Before, it was just basically one groove on the bottom, and you raced around there until you caught somebody, and if you couldn't they didn't slip, you'd knock them out of the way.
And the 20 got loose there, Dave. What are you hearing?
Marty, we haven't talked about it much tonight, and after he qualified third, you might have thought we'd see Joey up front longer, but crew chief Greg Zipadelli told me this morning they were not very optimistic. He said they weren't able to get their driver comfortable in the car, and they never figured out exactly what this new tire wanted. So I said, what about the qualifying lap? And he said, well, that was just a good qualifying lap.
All right, let's go into another battle because Clint Boyer is on the move. He restarted 15th on the last restart, and Boyer now is up to the 9th position after passing Kurt Busch.
You see how that track is black all the way to the very, very top.
Just to give you an update, while Boyer's running 9th, Mark Martin is running in 20th position. Again, if you're tuning in, we would point out the green names means that those are cars that are currently in the top 12 in the championship chase for the championship. Those in the yellow are still eligible. Those in the white have no chance. They've been eliminated.
Like Rudiman's car is starting to come back to him a little bit, but also look at that 99 car, Carl Edwards.
I got lap traffic of Bobby Labonte right there. Labonte is in 38th position. He is 134 laps down. They were behind the wall, came back out after making some repairs, and here comes Rudiman right up on the bumper, slides up the hill, and that opens the door for the 99 of Edwards. On the right side of your screen, Kyle Busch is going to lead now, 65 laps tonight, and that means he's now got 1,000 career laps led here at Bristol Motor Speedway. And he's also going for the trifecta, and right now his lead is up to 2.5 seconds over Jimmy Johnson.
Seeing a lot of action up front between these cars. 48 of Jimmy Johnson getting a run from the 00 of David Rudiman. Early thoughts about what's going on between positions 2, 3, and 4.
Well, right now I'm taking a look at Clint Boyer, to tell you the truth, and he's really doing a great job out there. Andy mentioned earlier how the track's really getting black from the bottom to the top. I mentioned earlier also about the darkness. I really think both of those factors right now have really got Clint Boyer and also David Rudiman's car running a lot better. So I really got an eye on those two. Been pretty impressed. Oh, caution. Looks like Bobby Labonte in the 09 car blows right front.
And we're going to pick it up for you, Rusty, as you can see the damage as our 5th caution has come out here at Bristol Motor Speedway. And we had just seen Bobby, as he had been behind the wall, came back out, and probably right now they're thinking maybe we should have stayed behind the wall.
Well, yeah, we've seen a lot of these right front tires go down so far tonight.
Driver to the truck.
Take another look. Keep an eye on the 09.
Whoops, there it goes.
See that tire let go right in the center of the corner. I think this harder tire has created some handling issues for some people that are having to apply more brake than normal here. This is normally a place that you don't use a lot of brake. think we can say Kyle Busch is effectively not using a lot of brakes.
Yeah,
Normally
use a lot of gas.
Yeah. Let's update you on a couple of items. Travis Quapple got the free pass the prior yellow. We never got that one in for you. He is 26th right now, and Sam Hornish Jr. is going to get it this time. Vince?
Well, the 00 of David Rudiman says it's just too loose on entry, and he doesn't have anything to lean on coming off the corner. So they're going to give him 4 fresh tires and put a round and a half a wedge in the left rear. Jamie?
Kyle Busch says he starts out just a little tight, and the guys behind him are turning better than him. So air pressure out of the 2 front tires. 4 tires stop and Sunoco fuel for Kyle Busch. Dave?
Second place, Jimmy Johnson says, when I get to the black part of the track where the rubber's worked in, the right rear, I lose. I get the car very, very loose. So they're going to make an air pressure adjustment, possibly a chassis adjustment as well, as they come to a complete stop. Do not see a wrench. Yes, it is going to go in this side. Rich Gutierrez, the catch can man, makes a wedge adjustment for Jimmy Johnson to see if they can get that car tightened up just a little bit. Remember earlier, he didn't like the way they did it with the air pressure. He's going to actually maintain second place to Kyle Busch.
First 3 come out the way they went in. Montoya picks up a spot at the expense of Carl Edwards, and Ryan Newman has lost 3. And again, notice.
What happened to all the 2-tire guys?
I was going to set you up for that. Nobody has gone back to the 2-tire strategy. We're going to step aside for a quick break. We're under our 5th caution here at Bristol, just past halfway.
The sun has set at Bristol Motor Speedway. It is officially a night race, and we have 258 laps down, which means we've got 42 to go. Let's get you caught up with what has happened so far with our McDonald's race rundown. For the story of the night heading in, those 2 gentlemen, Brad Keselowski and Kyle Busch, they got into it last night in the Nationwide Series race. They were early on racing together. So far, nothing has happened. So far, also a very eventful night for Tony Stewart. Was running in second, Rusty, when he had contact with the 37, and then he spun later on in the race.
Yeah, he had to slow down to avoid a wreck in a 37 car. Tony Raines got to back him and really damaged the right rear quarter panel, made his car really loose. He ended up spinning it, and now he's got a lot of damage, and he's way down right now. He's in 28, 3 laps off the pace.
One thing we're watching all night is the battle between the 5 of Mark Martin and the 33 of Clint Boyer. Those 2 guys, 12th and 13th in the points, trying to make the chase. Brad, right now, Boyer's running in top 10. Mark Martin is not.
Yeah, right now, 82 points separates those 2. And Clint Boyer early on in the race made a 2-tire stop, picked up about 13 positions, has got himself in that top 10. Mark Martin still trying to get the feel of his race car. It's coming.
And restart of the night. Check this one out. Marty, the 48 had the lead, but he was bested by both David Rudiman and Kyle Busch, who is currently shown as the leader. We're heading towards another restart, guys. What are we going to see now?
Well, and it's interesting, Nicole, because the positions are going to be swapped if everything holds station, guys, because it will be Kyle Busch with the choice. Let's take another look at this restart, DJ, because you think Kyle Busch really put a great move here.
Oh, he did a great job. Jimmy Johnson was the leader. He chose the outside. Watch Kyle lay back just a little bit right here. He knew exactly where he wanted to go. He didn't want to be on that bottom, get trapped there. Laid back, got himself up to the top right here. So he gets a nice run down into the corner. A lot of momentum right here. Touches Jimmy just a little bit. That gets Jimmy off the gas for a split second. They're 3 wide, but Kyle's in the preferred spot, takes the lead. He's got the outside on this restart, though. That's his choice.
One wave around the 38 of David Gilliland. So we've got a total now of 27 cars on the lead lap. Tony Stewart, the first car in 28. He is 3 laps down. Green flag back out, and boy, look at Kyle this time.
Yeah, look at Montoya, though. He got a good restart here. He can stay on the outside of Jimmy. It doesn't look like he can.
Whoa! Johnson gets turned. He's into the wall. And the caution comes out again.
There. Hold it up there.
I think Montoya might have touched the wall just a little bit.
Came off the wall, maybe caught Jimmy.
Yeah, caught Jimmy in the right rear.
Yeah, what Montoya's trying to do is just stay barely on that right rear corner so he can have position to the next turn.
Look at Chad.
Man, this has not been going good for them. Had a good car tonight, too.
Started on pole, led 175 laps.
That's Bristol for you.
We talked about this race. It can change in a heartbeat.
Just takes a split second. They're tracking laps around here in 16 seconds, and things happen so quickly. And all it takes is a little bit of a touch. Let's see what happens. I think Montoya gets a little bit loose right there. Yeah, he didn't touch the wall. Just, I don't know.
He's definitely hooked him.
I think it's more, as you said, Andy, he was just trying to stay there on that quarter panel.
Yeah, if he can keep an inch or two there, he just has just enough for the next corner. And I don't know, I can't tell if Jimmy moved up. Didn't look like it to me.
Well, he didn't give him any extra room, that's for sure.
Let's look from this view.
They come out of the corner.
That's pretty self-explanatory. Montoya definitely just hooked him in the right rear.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, Jimmy Johnson was giving him more room there as we saw that shot coming.
Was that view from down low. Jimmy's only one top 10 in the last 6 races of this season. And here he is on pit road. And we talked about the hammer being the most important tool on pit road at Bristol.
Dude, I left him room. What the hell?
Yeah, that's what it looked like. It looked like he left him plenty of room.
Yeah, I don't know if there was something there that
make sure we got a plan here and we're cutting the right stuff here, guys.
Yeah, what you don't want to do in this situation is start trying to pull things off that don't need to be removed, because you can cause sometimes more damage than you have.
Got water pressure sitting there.
Yeah. I think we definitely saw in those last few things, Andy, as they work on this car, though, that it was a situation. Montoya came down. I don't know if there's a situation between these two drivers from before at another time that maybe, but Jimmy Johnson's right. He did leave him plenty of room.
We got somebody else here behind the wall.
Yeah, it looks like Denny Hamlin has pulled his car behind the wall. What's going on, Dave?
Marty, they had a vibration in that 11 car, and even when he turned off the car, he could still feel the vibration in the shifter lever. So they brought it back down to see if they could take a look at it on pit road. They determined it was worse than that, and he's going back to the garage.
Boy, it must be pretty bad if they're coming in the garage.
Came into the evening a third in the points right now. Jimmy Johnson is now 2 laps down and counting as he is still on pit road. Look out, here comes the debris.
Denny Hamlin, he ran over a shock absorber earlier, but I think that was just with the tire. I can't see that having anything to do, but these are the type things that they saw in the chase last year that literally kept them from being able to challenge Jimmy Johnson.
2 cars behind, one behind the wall, one on pit road.
Well, a lot of times this is kind of a payback place. When you come to a short track and you see right here at Indianapolis, Jimmy Johnson racing hard, racing with Kyle Busch.
And then right there gets a little loose. And this problem on pit road. Hood up. We just have not seen this in the last 4 years with this team, and now they are back behind the wall.
Now this one here just definitely not Jimmy's fault. It wasn't the team's fault. They were executing really pretty good tonight.
Johnson and Hamlin each have 5 wins. They lead all drivers in that category here in 2010.
Driver truck, Jimmy.
And both of them behind the wall.
I'm kind of like you, Dale. I'm just wondering if there's something that's happened over the last few races that's got these two maybe not getting along.
Dave, what are you hearing down there?
One of the items that's broken on the 48 is going to take a little time to put back in. A split oil cooler was the call.
Yeah, they're going to fix that for sure. You can see a lot of fluid actually in front of Jimmy. Somebody else is leaking fluid. And here's Montoya's got some damage to his left front that might need to be addressed.
Yeah, that could create a rubbing problem as he goes down and into the banking here. We'll have to keep an eye on that. It's a lot of damage.
Chad Knaus would not get too close to him right now. He has got to be one frustrated guy. And as he walks back, we go back to green flag racing, ending our 6th caution with Kyle Busch, David Rudiman, Boyer, Montoya, and Kenseth, your top 5.
Yeah, how about that name you said third? Clint Boyer worked his way all the way from the rear back up to 3rd spot. See, Montoya has a lot of tire rub.
Tire rub, man. That's trouble right there. Big trouble for Montoya. He'll have to make a pit stop.
This could be a matter of
He's going to make a pit stop, whether it's with a flat tire and a crash car or get it down here as soon as he can.
On board with Ryan Newman right there, and give a shout out to the 17 of Matt Kenseth. He has worked his way into the top 5 for the first time tonight.
Yeah, just behind those guys, you see that 1 car once again. Been talking about him quite a bit tonight. He's got a fast race car. Got himself up there in the 7th spot.
Kenseth started 14th. There's Jamie McMurray right alongside Casey Kane. Word that Greg Biffle was having problems. He's got one there with the 47 of Marcus Ambrose. Things are starting to pick up.
Well, we're getting close to that 300 lap mark, and that last 200, you got to get yourself in position, start racing hard.
On board with Marcus.
See Biffle really struggling with his race car to keep it down, and especially on the exit of the corner.
That's a battle for 15th. Paul Menard right behind him, and 56 of Martin Truex. And there is Mark Martin. He has got to try and get himself further forward in this field because Bowyer is eating up points right now in that battle for 12th.
As Mark's back there in this battle, Clint Bowyer's up trying to take the second spot away from David Rudiman.
There you go with the 2 box on the right side, the battle for second. Rudiman still doing a great job despite coming off food poisoning just a couple of nights ago. David been running that high line very successfully. The lead by Kyle Busch, 0.8 of a second. And again, don't forget that Kyle trying to make history. No one has ever won all 3 touring series in the same weekend.
Clint Bowyer's racing hard here, trying to take that second spot away. He wants to see if he can get by here, get a little bit of clean air. He can get up and keep Kyle Busch from that happening once again in his 5th try of sweeping the weekend.
While all this is going on, remember we did not get a chance to update you on the 99 because Carl restarted. He was 4th, and then he had to come back in. Jamie, what's the latest there?
They had 3 loose lug nuts on the left rear. They obviously had to come in on the second time to get them tight. And Carl asked what happened. They said, we'll talk about it afterwards. He lost 22 positions, Marty.
Yeah, he restarted in the 26th position. He's moved up 4 spots to 22nd, Jamie.
Yeah, that'd be like a jackman letting it down too early to have that many lug nuts in.
Yeah, just a little miscue. I mean, you make mistakes. You're trying to make these spots up on pit road, and it's so tight. It's going to happen.
Left side of your screen on board with Kevin Harvick. He's still mired in 24th position. They have not been able to find the combination to do what they've done so successfully throughout the season, which is work their way forward by the end of the race. One guy who worked his way forward from 19th is leading by a 1.5 seconds. We talk about at Bristol, you've got to survive this because it's a wild card race, and Jimmy Johnson right now has not survived it very well at the contact into the wall with Juan Pablo Montoya getting into his quarter panel. And it's Denny Hamlin also having problems as he's behind the wall. The 48 crew trying to get the repairs done to get back out to get as many points as possible. Hamlin's car also still behind the wall as they've had issues. In fact, 5 of the drivers in the top 6 in the points entering tonight have had issues. Hamlin back out on the track finally, but he is well down in 34th, 25 laps, and now 26 is there goes your leader, Kyle Busch. We mentioned the fact that that top 5 drivers in the points, 5 in the 6. Look at this. Kyle Busch could jump 5 tonight. Burton could pick up 3. Stewart has had problems. Denny Hamlin, and you want to know where Jimmy Johnson is going to end up? He could be as low as 9th coming out of this race tonight if they cannot get back on the track. How about the battle for the bubble? Well, 12th spot right now goes to Clint Bowyer, and he's got an 88-point margin over Mark Martin unless Mark can pick it up because Bowyer is running 3rd, guys.
Yeah, but we've seen just how quickly things can change here at this fast-paced track. Clint Bowyer would love for this race to end pretty soon. He'd love to win, but he knows that 3rd place would give him a nice cushion going into the last 2, but a lot can happen from this point forward.
One of the interesting things, 5 of the drivers in the top 9 running right now were running in last night's Nationwide Series race. Let's get an update on the 11. There's Denny Hamlin. Doc, what do you hear?
It was a drive shaft issue with the 11 car. Apparently the drive shaft just snapped over there. They brought the car behind the wall, and they had to balance the car to try to wedge the drive shaft in the universal area in the back of the car at the rear end loose. They were finally able to get the old one out and put the new one in, but it took a while. Denny Hamlin now repaired and back on the track.
You saw where he is right now on the racetrack, running 34th, 25 laps down. Meanwhile, Kyle Busch's lead over Rudiman, 1.2 seconds, and he's still trying to make history to become the first ever in NASCAR history to win all 3 Touring Series events in the same weekend. That's Regan Smith right in front of him. Regan is 31st right now. He is 7 laps down.
I'm sure with the problems that Tony Stewart and Jimmy Johnson have had, Kyle Busch is feeling pretty good about his chances. If he can just kind of keep his nose clean here tonight, probably the 2 fastest cars that he has encountered throughout the night have gone by the wayside.
Yeah, and Montoya's car was really fast up into that contact he had. I'm pretty surprised, actually. He's able to stay out there with that tire as bad as it was rubbing early on. We don't see much smoke coming from it now, but look at Junior, man. He's rolling.
Well, and I was going to say, let's check in on Dale, because remember, he started 27th. Last night in the Nationwide Series race, he went down a lap, Vince Welch, and he's doing the same routine tonight, just slowly but surely working his way back.
Well, remember at the end of the Nationwide race, he said he felt like they'd learned some things last night that would apply to tonight, and that's been the case this evening. He started 27th. They had some issues with the handling early, but they know it's a long race. They've worked on the car, massaged its handling. It's getting a little better. Still not perfect, but he's worked his way up 20 positions. Now he's in the top 10, and we've still got better than 200 laps to go, right at 200.
And we mentioned at the top of the broadcast, he holds the mark for starting deepest in the field. He won this event starting 30th back in 2004. Casey Kane going side by side with David Reagan. Kane, another guy that's been rebounding well. He's into the 9th position. Jeff Gordon behind him in 10th.
You see Matt Kenseth right there running right in front of Casey Kane. The car's smoking a little bit. He's still running really good, but it definitely see some smoke coming out of it.
We mentioned Jeff Gordon. There he is going around the 43 of A.J. Allmendinger. Allmendinger's 5 laps down right now, running in 30th. Check in once again on this battle between the teammates from Earnhardt Ganassi Racing as Montoya's in 4th, McMurray in 5th.
McMurray's had a great time on the racetrack. His pit road that's given him a problem tonight. He's worked himself all the way back to that 5th spot. I would like to see, if this race continues on, if he can get up and challenge Kyle Busch at all. He seems to be able to run the lap times.
Both the race leader and McMurray ran 16.7 second laps that last time around. How about Kurt Busch? We go on board with his battle with the 31 of Jeff Burton. Joey Logano right behind. This is 11th, 12th, and 13th, guys.
Yeah, Kurt Busch had one of the dominant cars here in the spring race. Hasn't been able to find that magic. This is a different tire. We've documented a number of times, and I think that it's thrown some of these guys a curve as far as their setups.
How about that 47? Ambrose has had a lot of good runs here.
This has been one of his better oval tracks. And right now he is doing well as he is running in the 14th position. And as that battle sort of settles down for a little bit, let's go back up front. There is Kyle Busch. His lead is 1.4 seconds. Joe Gibbs Racing has won 6 of the last 7 races on the short tracks. We'll be back after this message and a word from our ABC station. We're working traffic with our leader as you're on board with Kyle Busch. He has now led a total of 140 laps. Jimmy Johnson led the most so far at 175.
Yeah, I've been watching that a little bit, and Kyle Busch kind of got his fullback blocker in Denny Hamlin, who's a lot of laps down, but he came back out on fresh tires. He passed Kyle. Kyle just kind of let him go, but Denny's kind of opening up the holes, making Kyle's life even easier as if he needed any help.
Well, that's Jeff Green lap traffic right in front of him. Green is in 24th position. He is on the lead lap, so he is trying to fight hard to stay there. He's the last car on the lead lap.
This is the longest green flag run we've had, 70 laps. The longest one we had was previous was 66 laps.
Well, Kyle's just making this look easy as he goes around here, though. His car is working extremely well. He gets himself, or when situations present themselves, he's been very smart to just kind of wait a minute, let the traffic sort itself out, and then he takes advantage of that and goes on by.
Well, he still only has about a 1 second lead over David Rudiman. Rudiman's car seems to really come on at the end of these longer runs, and that's why I was kind of looking at how long this run's been. We'll see if Rudiman can maybe make up a little ground on him.
While all this is going on, Jimmy Johnson is still behind the wall. Let's get an update from Dave Burns.
They're almost finished, Marty, and ready to go back out and give it a try. Possible suspension damage that they're not sure about how it'll handle, but the main thing was getting the oil cooler and the radiator replaced on the car. And one common sense thing they did for safety was they put the cool down unit on it before they took off the old radiator. You know how hot they could be with the water coming through there, so they didn't get scalded. Also, Chad Knaus told them, slow down. We're so far down, take your time and do it right. Motors refired, and they're getting ready to pull back out.
Yeah, they can't drop any farther than where they are in 35th. Everybody below them is already out of the race. And, you know, we talked about how Bristol can change the game, and it certainly has in the drive for 5 for that team. How about the drive for 3 in a weekend for the 18 as he is coming up on Sam Hornish? And if Sam, well, he's going to go a lap down and just does, as he's now 23rd. So that means 22 cars on the lead lap.
Andy, there's another one of your two-tire guys in the 83 car, Reed Sorensen. They just changed 2 last time.
Yeah, we saw that. We didn't get to see them on the race off, but I checked later. They did take 2 tires and just went straight back. So, boy, if other teams weren't paying attention before, I'm sure they were there.
And as we mentioned, that 83 car about Brian Vickers, we want to finish that story. We never got a chance because of a caution that came out. And Vickers, of course, had a news conference. He had surgery to repair a hole in his heart, put a stent in his leg. He says he will be back in time to drive when we hit Daytona in February. So we'll wish him all the best in his recovery. There's your leaderboard after 327 of 500 laps. Kyle Busch still on top.
Of the 336 laps turned here at Bristol Motor Speedway tonight, Kyle Busch has now led 159 of them. Now, of note, he is going for the weekend sweep. 5 times he's attempted to win the nationwide race, the Camping World Truck Series race, and the Sprint Cup Series race. Already this season, he's tried to do it twice, but tonight appears to be his best chance at this. No driver has ever won 3. How does this add to the Kyle Busch lore?
Well, I think with the opportunity to do it, it continues to add to the ability of Kyle Busch that we all know is tremendous. The thing that's going to be interesting is can he get to the end of this race and not get tangled up with Brad Keselowski, because Brad is obviously not running as well as Kyle. And for Kyle to accomplish this would be incredible. But will Brad play spoiler is the question I have in my mind.
Well, I don't know. There's something about this racetrack definitely suits Kyle's driving style. He and Dave Rogers are doing a great job adjusting on this car as the night goes on. But Brad Keselowski might not be the only spoiler. That guy in that one car, James McMurray, is just flying up through the field after having 2 pit road penalties. As DJ said, he's all the way back up in 3rd place.
But in terms of retaliation in that 12 car, isn't there a certain team owner like Roger Penske who may frown upon that if Brad retaliates?
Yeah, I don't think you're going to see any retaliation. I know a lot of the fans are looking for that to happen, but you know, look, he's got a really good car. Kyle Busch does. You see Brad Keselowski trying to survive this thing. Obviously not a really good car tonight. I don't think you're going to see the retaliation. You know, back to Kyle Busch a little bit. I'm pretty impressed with how he's able to adjust to this car all night long, and it's took the daylight conditions. It's handled good. The night conditions now. But, you know, he's doing a great job holding on to this thing. That's a fast car he's got, and he could, you know, win this trifecta, I call it. This could happen for him tonight because he's, you know, it's his race to lose at the moment.
McMurray is getting pressure from David Ruderman, but McMurray has had issues tonight. He slid through his pit stall on the first pit stop. He was speeding on the second, yet he is still, like Clint Boyer, up there running strong. Boyer had problems.
Oh, he really is. And actually, he just took 2nd place away from the 00. So he's moving forward. I think you're going to see him put a little bit of pressure on our leader here shortly.
All right, thanks, guys. As we take a look at Jamie McMurray, as this has been, and you were watching this before, and let's get an update on the one from Vince Welch.
Yeah, you know, guys, this may be the guy with the best car on the track all night. They've made 4 pit stops. 3 of those 4 pit stops, they've not made a single change to the car. McMurray loves it, but as Nicole and the guys in the pit studio mentioned, they've had their problems in the pits. They had a loose lug nut penalty. They overslid the box and lost 3 spots on their first stop. But once he's on the track, man, this guy's car is hooked up. And McMurray, I agree with Ray. I think he's going to be putting some pressure on Kyle Busch before it's over with.
Could be trouble for Matt Kenseth. He has got problems. He has pulled down pit road, and he is headed for his pit stop. He was 8th.
To the right side. Left side look good. Go, 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 go.
Well, we saw a bit of a chunk of rubber. Don't know if that was just something he picked up on the way in, but they changed the right sides.
Yeah, they said that the left side looked good, so he was apparently reporting something that he may have a flat tire. They said one of them was flat, and I didn't catch that. It
probably the right front.
front.
We've seen, so many tires go down. This is the longest green flag run, like I said, and kind of looking for this.
Kyle Busch on the right side of your screen, he has gotten around his teammate Denny Hamlin now. And on the left side of your screen, you're looking at Jeff Gordon and Dale Earnhardt Jr. They are duking it out for the 8th spot.
Gordon had fallen back a little bit there, but he's starting to work his way back towards trying to get to that top 5. 6th, I believe, was the highest up that he ever got earlier on.
There he goes underneath Junior, so he'll take the spot away, and he does clear. But another strong run tonight after last night's run for Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Car's been pretty good. It started to fall off, and I'm speaking of Dale Jr., started to fall off a little bit here with all of these green flag laps. So you have to watch him, make sure that he doesn't have some type of tire issue.
There you see Matt Kenseth. He is back out on the track, but he is now 25th, 2 laps down. And the bad news for Matt is he only has one top 10 finish in his last 10 races. Now, he has a fast car, but there are 2 cars in front of him that are only 1 lap down, so he will not get the lucky dog. He's going to have to do it all behind the wheel if he's going to try and get back into this. And you just saw that puff of smoke. We've gone 107 green flag laps, and the guys on pit road know what that potentially could mean. Green flag pit stops. The pressure will be on because this could be the determining factor in the race. Let's revisit the AT&T Fastest Pit Crew of the Year award. The fastest pit crew is determined by the winner of each race, the pit time, and your vote. Be sure to text the car number to 2258 for your pit crew choice. Look at that out the back. Jamie McMurray is coming. He's going around Mark Martin right now, as Martin has just gone a lap down in 20th position. You're riding on board with the race leader. But look at this. The position changes. He's lost 4 on pit road, gained 9 on the track.
Well, he's hoping they only have to make about 1 more pit stop, and he'll be careful and hope for the crew will do their job.
You saw the 48. He is back out on the track as well, but Jimmy Johnson 35th, 72 laps down. One other thing to point out for Jamie McMurray. We've been focusing a lot on Clint Bowyer and the 5 of Mark Martin. Look what this could do for Jamie's chances to get back into this mix with 2 more races before we hit the chase.
Well, he's doing his job. He's getting himself into position. He just needs for now. He's got Mark Martin a lap down, so he doesn't have to be concerned with him. He's concerned if something should happen to that 33, he'd be right there in position to take advantage of it.
Clint Bowyer right now running in the 4th position, and you're right. If he has a hiccup, Jamie will say, excuse me, and get even closer. There's your race leader, Kyle Busch. There is 2nd place, down on the low line, Jamie McMurray, and this is really starting to get interesting as McMurray has been clicking off some great laps and has been closing the gap at about 1/10 of a second to 2/10 of a second each time around, but now they're fighting a little bit of traffic.
Yeah, but his car Jamie in the 1 car looks really fast through the center of the corner. You can see now Kyle has cleared the lap traffic a little bit and able to put a little bit more space back on him.
Well, you see we're lapping right now. We have completed 369 laps on lap 199 on the restart. McMurray was 17th. On board right now with Kevin Harvick. Matt Kenseth a couple laps down, as we mentioned. He is now 1 lap down, actually, in 24th. He's got some fresh tires, and he's on the high side.
Yeah, a long time since the last pit stop for the other cars, so see how much those new tires make a difference.
Kevin Harvick running in the 15th position. Jeff Burton 16th, right behind him, along with Greg Biffle, who's running 17th. And Sam Hornish, who had been on the lead lap, now running 23rd or lap down, is slowing and heading for pit road. No caution on the track. And one other thing we should probably get ready for.
Yeah, right here. Look here. See the 12 car? Kyle Busch is going to have to lap him.
Well, this is going to
right now, Kyle Busch saying, I wish that caution would come out.
Do you honestly think that Brad would do anything in this position?
Well, stand by.
All right. Keselowski, last car on the lead lap right now. He is 18th. There's the gap between the 2 of them. In case you did not tune in last night, these 2 got together 3/4 of the way through the nationwide race. Brad tapped Kyle as he made a pass. Then Kyle turned Brad and put him in the wall. Kyle continues to close as the laps continue to wind down.
It's like he's taking his time about catching this car to put him down a lap. I'm thinking this might be a good time to let Jamie McMurray take the lead.
Well, you can see there is Jeff Burton right ahead of Keselowski. He's running in that 17th spot. So a lot of traffic now starting to build in front of our race leader.
Yeah, nothing may happen, but you know it has to be on Kyle Busch's mind. You know, you just don't know. When you make some people mad, you're not exactly sure how they're going to react. Even though that was a nationwide race last night. Well, same two guys.
Here we go. They're getting about as close as they have been since the beginning of this race. He goes down on the inside. Will there be any contact? Giving him plenty of room. Still clean.
Brad's going to race him pretty hard. I mean, he wants to stay on the lead lap, too, because he's had a decent run tonight. He's running in 18th spot, so he doesn't want to give up this lap.
And he's not. He's trying hard. You saw him getting a little happy in the tail end section there as he got a little loose, but Kyle trying to get a nose in front.
Yeah, and you can see Kyle was glad to see that bottom lane kind of open up, but you can see Brad really forcing him down. Yeah, he's making him work extremely hard, and I think that was Brad's plan kind of all along. But Kyle has to feel a lot better that a guy down on the inside can do a lot more to you from that standpoint. But see, Brad has run him awfully hard right here, but looks like Kyle's going to clear him.
And Kyle, we can tell you, has now cleared and has clinched most laps led tonight as he finally gets around the 12 of Keselowski. Now, just in case you were not with us last night, let's go back for the battle for first.
Yeah, these guys had a great battle of about 15 laps. See, Kyle tried to put a slide job. Didn't quite clear Brad Keselowski. Kyle took exception to that, went down and admittedly said that he dumped him. It made him mad that Brad had got into the back of him. Kyle would go on to win the race.
Word we're getting right now, the 9 of Casey Kane is slowing on the track. So Kane, who had worked his way back up to the 7th position, all of a sudden is slow here on the front straightaway.
It's like
and the right front
down.
Yep. Good call, guys. So a tough break again for Casey Kane. He rallied back after getting a speeding penalty, got all the way back into the top 10, and here under green flag situations, you're definitely going down a lap or two when you have to pit.
And we'll point out again, just for those if you didn't join us, under green flag conditions, you only have to go in the side, and then you can go out and straight back out on the racetrack from just the one pit road. You don't have to go around the entire length of both pit roads.
On board with Kyle Busch, that is second place. Jamie McMurray right behind him. You're looking at the laps, you're saying 115 to go. Remember, this is a half-mile track, and the laps click off at about 16 seconds a lap.
There's no doubt that Jamie McMurray's car is a little better than Kyle Busch right now. See if he can make a good enough run on that bottom side. That looks like where Kyle's going to make him go to make the pass.
Well, here he goes. He's underneath him. Doesn't have enough to get it done there.
Right here's where Jamie's car's been really good and able to turn and get back to the gas. See Kyle really driving his hard. He wants to keep the lead.
Well, and Jamie has to give up there because the slower traffic of Jimmy Johnson, who's out there just trying to get as many points back as possible. Now he'll rejoin the battle.
Yeah, we've also seen Jamie up on that high side being able to make passes when he was coming up through traffic. Let's see if he can hold him down. See, Kyle kind of shuts the door on him right there. Jamie had a nice run, though.
Shut it. He slammed it.
Yeah, here he goes. Yeah, though. Not this time.
Side by side, do we have a new leader? Jamie McMurray is going to get the lead. Can he seal the deal?
Yeah, I think Kyle Busch just gave it to him right there. Knowing there's a lot of laps left, they're going to make another pit stop. He's going to have an opportunity to win this race, and he has the best car on these restarts.
He'll be our 5th different leader, our 10th lead change. So there is a new race leader, 111 laps to go here at Bristol. We'll be back with more after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Welcome back to the Irwin Tools Night Race here at Bristol. Make sure to go to NASCAR.com for all your latest NASCAR information. And we are now getting some green flag pit stops. In fact, here come both the race leaders. McMurray and Kyle Busch, 30 miles an hour. It's going to feel like an eternity. Vince,
Jamie McMurray's car has been great all night. They've not made a single chassis adjustment on 3 of their 4 pit stops. They're going with 4 tires and Sunoco fuel here. McMurray has loved his car, and Bono Mannion has done his job tonight for sure. Jamie.
And Kyle Busch surprised his crew. He made the call to come because he knew the one was. It was a wedge adjustment, air pressure. He wants his car to turn better. He thinks that's why the one car is beating him, and you see the 18 wins the race off pit road. Dave.
Chassis adjustment and air pressure adjustment for Juan Pablo Montoya. He said no grip in the car, more to the tight side, but still a little bit loose as well. That's a good stop.
145 green flag laps, and we are still under green. There's Joey Logano in. Dave?
20 is in. Logano said, please snug it up a little. The car generally very good. He ran as low as 18th. He was running 8th when this round of pit stops was going on. A good recovery for the 20 car after they didn't know what they had at the start of the day, Jamie.
And Kurt Busch been saying his car is not turning through the center. That has been the main complaint tonight. Not happy with the earlier adjustments. Filled it up with fuel and 4 tires, Doc.
Jeff Gordon's had a car that's been very loose. Loose has been screaming on the car. They finally got it tightened up by taking the rubber out of the rear. He drove it from 14th all the way up to 5th position. Car real good.
Very, very loose. And he said, I'm struggling. But tight this time is why he lost all those positions and went a lap down and is having a hard night tonight at Bristol when he needs a really good run.
And we're going to get 2 penalties for too fast exiting on 20 of the Joey Logano and the 37 of Tony Raines, so they'll have to do pass-throughs. Your race leader now is David Rudiman, and he was the first to come in and get those fresh 4 tires. Now let's go back because we're hearing word that the 18 had a little bit of contact right here.
You can see it got Kyle Busch sideways off of turn 2. Hopefully that didn't do enough damage to his right front. He's currently in second right now. He beat Jamie McMurray out of the pits, but David Rudiman, by making that pit stop a little earlier, had those fresher tires longer, got the lead.
And we should tell you that 26 of Jeff Green, he is in 24th, 2 laps down. You see David Rudiman going around Kurt Busch. Kurt is in the 12th position, 1 lap down, and Carl Edwards right there, 13th. He is also 1 lap down. And caution.
Back her down.
We've got debris on the racetrack, and this is going to be big because you've got 11 cars on the lead lap, and we'll have to see who's going to stay out to take the wave around.
Well, Kurt Busch will get his lap back, but that's going to leave Carl Edwards a lap down. As you can see him battling there, trying to get back on the lead lap.
Take a look at Jamie McMurray there right now. Now, we talked about all those positions he lost on pit road.
Looks like he is making a move towards pit road.
No, he fakes, comes back out. You mentioned that race to pit road. Here we go.
Yeah, it looks like McMurray kind of got caught out there, maybe by some of these lap cars. Okay, and here they're going to come to pit road this time.
See, Jamie really gets out of the gas really early. Kyle Busch runs up to the outside of him. Jamie gives him plenty of room there, so he'd stretched out about a half a second lead, but made all of that up.
And then at the other end of pit road. And there he goes. And there is the difference right now between Kyle Busch and Jamie McMurray. Matt Kenseth is back in, and let's go to Dr. Jerry Punch.
They will change 4 tires on the 17 car of Kenseth. Fill it up with fuel. He is down and away. Dave.
They reasoned at the 42 pit that this would probably be the last time they came down pit road. So go ahead and put 4 fresh tires on it. No fuel and no adjustments. Turning much better in that short run for Juan Pablo Montoya.
Well, Carl Edwards is going to get the lucky dog. That will put 11 cars back on the lead lap here at Bristol. Don't go away. Just back to green flag racing here at Bristol. Rudiman is in front of Kyle Busch with McMurray, Boyer, Newman, Kane, and Jeff Gordon. That's your top 7. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is 8th. There's the logjam behind the top 3 as there's about 4 cars. Now they're trying to sort it out. There's Ryan Newman in that mix.
Yeah, that last caution was a big break for Matt Kenseth because he got his lap back. Remember, he had that flat tire and had to make that unscheduled stop.
He did, and he restarted 7th, but he has dropped 3 positions since the restart already, so he has slid back to 10th.
Yeah, and I'd mentioned that Kurt Busch was going to get the lucky dog. He was actually ahead of the leader just when the caution came out, so he'd got back on the lead lap. And Marty told you that Carl Edwards was the one that got the free pass.
And how about Casey Kane? Remember when he was in a spot of trouble there? We thought that that was going to be costly for him, but the caution came out at the opportune time. He, too, on the lead lap, running in 6th right now. David Rudiman holding off Kyle Busch. Busch has led 211 laps tonight. We've had 9 different leaders, 14 lead changes. And there's Jeff Gordon side by side with Kenseth.
Yeah, and Casey Kane just took over the 5th spot from Ryan Newman.
Here we go, pass for the lead. Kyle said, Dave, you've had plenty of camera time up front. I think I want it back. But David's saying no way, not yet. Great racing at Bristol. This is what we saw last night. A lot of side-by-side action, and the guys are doing it again.
And you see Jamie McMurray close in a little bit as these guys race side-by-side. Kyle, once again, couldn't make the pass. Just couldn't get the forward bite that he needed. Oh, that's a good move right there. Oh, contact.
Oh, look out. He almost hit the outside wall.
It was a good move till then.
Well, he's still, man, I tell you, Kyle Busch is working him over here.
Yeah, he's definitely got the chrome bumper up there, right there on the quarter panel, and gives him a little more room this time.
Yeah, but he cuts down and cuts him off there, and that hurt Kyle's momentum on exit of the corner.
Jamie McMurray's watching all this and saying, if you guys take each other out, I'll take over the lead. Thank you.
Well, they might not even need to do that. He might just be sitting there thinking, you guys use up your cars a little bit racing this hard right now. Got 75 laps to go.
Hey, Casey Kane's car has really come to life here.
Yes, it has. Clint Boyer's right there in 4th, but there is Casey running in the 5th spot as they go around the wounded Jimmy Johnson, who's in 35th. Rudiman still holding on to that top spot right now as the laps continue to wind down, and it won't take us long, especially if we stay green like we did the last stretch. 75 to go.
Casey Kane on the high side trying to take that 4th spot away from Clint Boyer. Is going to be able to do that.
And it does. He does take over the 4th position.
Yeah, we might have a new player here for racing for the lead here eventually.
Boy, and what a way this track can change. He had the speeding penalty, had the problem right before that last round of yellow. And here he is back in the mix.
Yeah, you can see Kyle Busch try to fake, give David Rudiman a little bit of a fake to go to that high side last time to get him to move down maybe a little bit on the track. Now he's trying that low side once again.
Rudiman gets sideways.
And here comes the 18. He says, you've opened the door, trying to squeeze through, and he does. So Kyle Busch retakes the lead now with 72 laps remaining.
Well, it's a great move Kyle Busch made. Get up on the bumper. That got Rudiman a little bit loose getting back to the throttle.
So it sorts out for just a moment. Now will Jamie McMurray go for 2nd? Stay with us to find out. 63 laps remaining, and the bottom of your screen is our race leader Kyle Busch, and he has opened up a 1.5 second gap over 2nd place David Rudiman. And for Sprint, bringing you an inside look at the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup on the Now Network. Let's listen in to Kyle.
Coming this time. Coming. The one's coming also. Get down. At the line, 4,200.
And that may be the move of the race because he got out ahead of Jamie McMurray. And then at the other end of pit road, there is the difference as he gets out that much ahead of Jamie McMurray. For more NASCAR stats, in-car audio, and live race radio, check out NASCAR Sprint Cup Mobile at sprint.com/speed. Kyle Busch now his lead up to 1.8 seconds in the last 9 Bristol races. The only driver to lead the most laps and win, guess who? You're looking at him, Kyle Busch. He did it back in March of the past year in 2009. There's the battle for 2nd place. Jamie McMurray has not been able to get around the 00 of David Rudiman, and Casey Kane has pulled up into that mix as well, guys.
Yeah, and that's what was so important about that pass that Kyle made to get by David Rudiman. Now he's got these guys held back a little bit. I think McMurray might be a little faster, but you got to be able to pass the guy and get by. As we see Greg Biffle up in the top 10, battling Juan Pablo Montoya for that 8th spot.
Biffle down low. Has to fall back behind the 42.
Yeah, Greg's really had to overcome a bad qualifying run. He started pretty far back, and they tried some strategy that didn't work. They took 2 tires. Didn't work very well, but they've really clawed their way back into this.
Well, next time by, let's check the speeds at the line, see who is the fastest of the 13 cars that are running on the lead lap.
I'm going to take a wild guess and say it's our leader.
Well, we'll just see right here.
So far, you're right.
Yeah, looks like it's going to work.
Second quick goes to Clint Boyer with Ryan Newman, the winner of the modified race on Wednesday night here at Bristol. He being the 3rd fastest, and Jimmy McMurray's crew chief, Kevin Mannion, was the crew chief on that modified win. Kyle got
got a good car under Jamie McMurray tonight. If Jamie could just find a way to make this pass on David Rudeman, he might have a shot at it.
Elliott Sadler going another lap down. He is now 8 laps down in 29th in that 19 car, and that battle for second place continues. We've only got 53 to go.
.456 laps down at Bristol Motor Speedway on this historic night. It was the 100th green flag start of the Sprint Cup Series here at this track, and it could be a historic night as well because Kyle Busch has seriously laid down a weekend. He won the Truck Series race by leading 116 laps. In the Nationwide Series race, he went on and led 116 laps. However, he's led a whole lot more in this race. Right now, he is leading 241 laps of this event. The only driver that's able to give him even a mild run for his money has been David Rudeman and Jamie McMurray. But it looks to be Kyle's night to lose.
Yeah, he's got a great run going on. There's just no doubt about that. He's got that clean air right now. He hasn't had to battle anybody too hard except for David Rudeman of late. And boy, with only 41 laps to go, it looks like he's got this thing pretty well in good shape to win this race and make this thing 3 wins this particular week. That's an impressive run out of him.
Outstanding feat thus far, but I'm still, I think with this tire, it's a really, really, like I say, durable, firm tire. We're seeing guys really struggle maintaining pace, maintaining speed on this tire, getting a good grip with a lot of these race cars. We've seen a little bit of right front tire trouble. I don't think we're through with that, even though we've only got 39 laps to go. I think we could still see some right front tire failures and create a caution, which will bunch the field back up. And I think if that happens, Jamie McMurray has a serious shot at Kyle Busch.
Well, that could definitely be in the mix. We could be poised to see something in history. I mean, Kyle has set record after record for as little time as he has spent in the race car. So we may see the first ever three-peat weekend. But as Brad said, there could be a caution that could jumble some things around. With this hard tire, we've seen cars change on the restart. And then it goes back, do you pit, do you not pit?
That's right.
Do you do 2, do you do 4, do you do none?
I don't know.
What about the guys in the booth? What do they think?
Well, I don't think we think it's over. That's for sure. Although for Dale Earnhardt Jr., you saw him getting passed by Kurt Busch. He's dropped back now to the 10th position. He was up to 7th when this run started.
Yeah, it looks like the handling's kind of gone away on his car a little bit.
He's going the wrong way at the wrong time. This race is running out. He's got some good cars still behind him that might even pass him.
Total of 13 cars on the lead lap. We have a total of 8 cars that are out of this race. Jimmy Johnson, just to let you know, is the last car out there running in 35th, 81 down. So let's also update the 29 of Kevin Harvick. It has not been the kind of night that Kevin has been accustomed to. As you can see his cycle there, as Harvick running 1 lap down right now in 14th. He would get the lucky dog if we get another caution. How about Juan Pablo Montoya? Let's check in on him because he's tracking down Ryan Newman. Newman's in that 6th spot, and Montoya would love to take it away.
Well, Montoya's had a good solid night. Hasn't been there. He's been right around the top 5 the majority of the night. Had that contact with Jimmy Johnson. Didn't seem to hurt his car, but put Jimmy out for quite a while.
Well, you heard the guys down in the pit studio talking about tires. Let's get an update from Dr. Jerry Punch.
You heard Brad say he thought that we may have some more tire issues. I'm already hearing several crew chiefs talking to their drivers about being careful with the right front tire. Remember the right front of the 17 car? Matt Kenseth had to go down. He only had 75 laps on that right front tire. He pitted on lap 410. They're warning him and others, be very careful, guys. A lot of brake heat, a lot of wear on that right front. We only have 30 laps to go.
That's about 15 miles, but a lot can happen at Bristol in 15 miles. We're back after this message and a word from our ABC stations. "20 laps to go here at Bristol, and you're looking at race leader Kyle Busch. He has now led 263 laps. He's been one of 9 different leaders. We've had 15 total lead changes, but right now, ours is Ryan Newman holds off Juan Pablo Montoya.
Newman looks like he's struggling a little bit, but he's just determined he's going to stay in that high line and make Montoya try to pass him from that bottom side, which has proved to be very difficult to do tonight.
You see Tony Stewart. He had his troubles earlier in the race. He's now 6 laps down, shown in 27th position. While those guys continue, the margin up front is still 2.3 seconds. Great run for David Rudiman, even if he does not win this race. Remember, he had food poisoning just a couple of nights ago, and he has toughed it out and has done a marvelous job.
Now, Dale Earnhardt Jr. has felt like a rock this last run. He fell from, I think it was 7th on that restart.
Yep.
He's the last car on the lead lap right now, 13th.
And there he is. You see the cycle. Let's get an update on the 88, Vince.
Well, Junior's been battling the handling issues, and he said he just, on that last stop, it was just loose in and tied off. And then he radioed in about 15 laps ago and said, man, I'm just holding on to this thing for dear life. So it's a handful right now for Junior as he tries to make it through these final 13 laps.
Well, and he's, as we pointed out, the last car on the lead lap. And boy, it is awfully loose. And there, just a few cars back, is our race leader, Kyle Busch. His lead 2.5 seconds. You know, in the last 10 short track races, Kyle has had the most wins with 4. Jimmy Johnson, Denny Hamlin had the other 3 each. Car right in front of him is Paul Menard. Not much of a birthday present for Paul, as he has never really been high in the mix.
It's only about 10 laps to go, but Brad Keselowski's just up ahead of this 18 car. He'll have to pass him one more time.
Yeah, you could see on the pointers exactly where Brad is. I think at this stage, I don't think anything's going to happen. He obviously had 2 other chances. Marcus Ambrose and Paul Menard separating the 12 from the 18. And this time there will be 9 laps remaining.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he's probably going to get there. Brad's running decent lap times right now. And there are a couple of cars, and Kyle knows that he has a good lead. So he's just trying
he's got a big
not
lead
make any
now.
mistakes right now.
Yeah, Menard's in 21st, and he'll now go 2 laps down. Jamie, what do you have?
Well, I think it's interesting. Sometimes Kyle Busch has a tendency to underestimate himself and the car. After practice, where he was 28th and 20th this weekend, he said, guys, I hope a good handling car will be better than a fast one. Well, he obviously has both of them covered as he continues to check out at a 1.5 seconds right now. He's saying the car is getting a bit loose, but Kyle Busch nice and happy on the radio.
Well, and he should be happy, because we are closing in on another page of NASCAR history. It has never been done where one driver has won all 3 national touring events in the same weekend.
It's a big deal for Kyle. He's wanted to check this one off for a long time. He's really got it in hand right now, and it's going to be pretty satisfying for him.
Yeah, and I'm sure he's grinning about those 10 bonus points that gets him closer to Jimmy Johnson and Denny Hamlin, who have the most victories as we head towards the chase too. So a lot of good things coming from this night.
A lot of action there between Clint Boyer. He's trying to hold on to that 4th position over Casey Kane. He just got around Kane, and he wants to put a little more room, because that gives him a little more gap. Right now, the way the race shapes up, he'll have a 100-point margin over Mark Martin for that 12th and final spot. Jamie?
Kyle Busch just radioed in, guys, I think I have a track bar mount coming off, or I have a flat tire. They're keeping an eye on it right now, guys, as we will do the same.
Well, we said this race can change in a heartbeat. Let's listen in.
I'm not sure about that. I think he's got this thing well in hand with 2 to go.
2 laps remaining. Coming up on Dale Earnhardt Jr.
White flag.
Jr., the last car on the lead lap in 13th. And here we go. The final lap. It will be his 19th win in his 210th start, his 3rd win of 2010, his 4th Bristol win.
What a weekend.
You heard him say it. What a weekend. You're about to see history. The first man ever to sweep all 3 Touring Series.
Baby. Oh, yeah.
Kyle Busch. David Rudiman 2nd, McMurray 3rd, Clint Boyer 4th, Casey Kane rounding out your top 5.
Tell you what, you might not always agree with everything he says or does, but you can never deny the amount of talent that he has.
He's going to pick up 5 spots in the chase. Imagine how hard this is. I mean, think about this. 3 Touring Series, and you win all of them.
Yeah, and here at Bristol, that's the amazing thing. I mean, there are places that you would think would be easier to do, but having everything go your way, you had to come from the back in the truck race. Just incredible. You had to survive a hard race last night and then 500 laps here tonight.
He had only 2 top 10 finishes in the last 9 races before tonight. You want to talk about gaining some momentum.
Well, it's going the right way for this 18 team right now.
First step in the right direction as here he comes to get the checkered flag. Let's check in with Jamie Little.
Dave Rogers, his crew chief, you said we're in presence of greatness. Put in perspective what sweeping the weekend for the first time ever means to you guys.
Well, it means a ton. You know, it meant so much to Kyle Busch, and he worked so hard, and you know, to come out here at Bristol, a place he loves, and hear all the fans boo, and you got some wise guys that get introduced behind him, and he handled it like a champion. He raced the class all day and won the race. This means so much to this entire Joe Gibbs Racing, double M&M's racing.
You got it all right. I'll let you go to victory lane, and we'll meet you there. Marty?
Yeah, notice all those burnouts? They all belong to Kyle Busch.
All those black marks on the front straightaway are his.
Absolutely, and there he is.
He
Listen
owns
to the
this
crowd.
place.
And the crowd gives him the credit that he is due for what he has accomplished that no one else has ever done in the history of NASCAR. I think the Truck Series with burnout was the one on the left, the Nationwide was the one in the middle, and the one on the right was tonight's.
It's just quite an accomplishment. Again, at this very difficult racetrack, makes it even more special.
Well, get your DVRs going here because we'll show you all 3 wins. This is Wednesday night when he took the truck from the back of the field, remember that, all the way to the front. Then last night, the controversial finish, and he said, you all cry, I'm still going to take the win. And then tonight, as he caps off what has never been done in the history of the sport. Stay with us when we come back. We'll talk to him. Back here at Bristol, this was the moment that Kyle Busch has tried 5 times to accomplish, sweeping the weekend.
Oh, Dave, thank you guys. I can't believe it. Swept the weekend at Bristol, baby. Oh, yeah. Woo!
And from there, it's only a short drive to victory lane. And the party is about to begin as there he is, and he can't wait to get out on this one, I guarantee you. Here he comes. Jamie, let's send it down to you.
You know this is a special moment, and there is the broom for the official sweep. Kyle, I know you kind of sometimes push the records to the side, but everybody on this team knew this was a big deal to get the job done tonight. What does a sweep mean to you, including winning in your own equipment the other night in the Truck Series?
It means a lot. I'm out of breath. I've been screaming the whole time. And normally you take your time to get your breath back, and I used it all up, but man, I can't say enough about this team, Joe Gibbs Racing and Kyle Busch Motorsports earlier this week, but man, this double mint Camry was awesome today. I mean, what a great race car. It's the second time we ran it this year, and second race for double mint, and we won for them, so that's pretty awesome. But again, I can't thank these guys enough. Flawless pit stops. We got beat just by the timeline over there with Jimmy one time, and other than that, these guys were awesome. So M&M's, combos, interstate batteries, Toyota, of course, Sprint for the awesome series. You know, I got a great cell phone, so NOS energy drink's always good for you too. Marquis Jets, Gillette, of course, and all my loving fans. It's awesome.
Kyle, take us back to that last pit stop. You actually made the call to pit. I'm coming, guys, and they jumped off the wall because you knew Jamie was coming. How important and key was that move? Yeah, I knew the 00 jumped us, and I was like, I can't let any of these other guys jump us. And when we came out on the pit cycle, he was ahead of us, you know, so I had to try to run him down, and fortunately I got past him there after the yellow. But yeah, with McMurray, I didn't want to get beat again, you know, with guys on tires and him get out in front of me and then me have to run him down and pass him later. So it was good to come to the pits when we did, and we were able to get our tires, and actually we beat him out of the pits by a mile. So really, like I said, really good pit stops by these guys, and can't thank Joe and JD enough. I mean, this is awesome. I love the opportunity to come out here. I love Bristol, and I love winning, and to do it for the first time ever in NASCAR to sweep a weekend, that's man, that's pretty awesome. I don't know what to think, but I've been trying to do this since I got to NASCAR, since I got in my NASCAR career, and fortunately tonight I was able to get it done, be the first one to do it, and I'm the first of a lot of things. The fifth was a charm. This was your first opportunity to do it, and you got it done. The points, it seems like maybe you've lost a little bit of hope over the last month or two. You guys gained 5 positions, Kyle, third. What does that mean looking forward to the chase? Well, I mean, it's great. You know, we had a strong car at Bristol. We knew we'd run well here, so we were really looking forward to capitalizing and get ourselves jumped in front of the bubble spot. You know, we didn't want to be back there where we were, and so it's still a tight point race here for the next 2 races, but Atlanta is one of our struggle points, so hopefully this week off we can regroup a little bit, think about some things, really go to Atlanta, try to run fast, but then we go to Richmond, another one of my favorite places, so hopefully we can win again there. All right, congratulations. Kyle Busch sweeps the weekend at Bristol. Marty?
One of 6 driver changes in the points championship in that top 12, as a lot of shuffling goes on here at Bristol, with now 2 races remaining before the chase begins. Well, this celebration is going to continue. We've got a lot more coming your way from here at Bristol. There is the high fives from the team as Kyle Busch has made history, becoming the first ever in NASCAR to win the Truck Series, the Nationwide Series, and the Sprint Cup Series all in one weekend. Position changes in the top 12 in the chase for the championship and the race to the chase, and you can see that 2 drivers are now in. Kevin Harvick clinched last week. Jeff Gordon clinches this week. And look at the bubble, because Jamie McMurray has now moved ahead of Mark Martin, but a big night for Clint Bowyer. His 4th place finish now gives him a 100-point cushion with 2 races remaining. Well, let's check in with Jamie McMurray. He is with Vince Welch.
What a great night for Jamie McMurray tonight. And I'll tell you what, this team gave you one heck of a race car this evening. And I know you had a couple of issues in the pits, but ultimately, what kept you from getting Kyle there at the end and getting past Rudeman as well?
You know, we put the last set of tires on, and we did it under green, and the front tires just felt flat the whole time. I had lots of grip. Balance just got real tight, but it was a really good night for our Bass Pro Shop Chevy. We had Johnny Morris and his boy here and some friends, and they've been at every race we've won this year, and I knew we had a really good car when happy hour was over. And when I saw Johnny here, I was like, got a good car, and I said, you've been good luck, so you never know. And honestly, at one point there, I really thought we were going to have the car to beat, and at the end, we just didn't have the speed we needed.
13th in points. I know you're still 100 away from that 12th spot. Can you do it in 2 races? I don't know. Everybody worries about points, and every time I do, we struggle. So I appreciate you telling me how far I'm out, but it's really irrelevant. We've had a great season, and 2 races, a lot can happen. And fortunately, there's only one guy you got to beat now. When you've got 4 or 5 in between you, it makes it a lot harder. But that's cool. Cars are fast right now. He won the Daytona 500, he won the Brickyard 400, and he had a real good car tonight here at Bristol. Jamie McMurray.
Jimmy Johnson climbing out of his damaged race car. Jimmy, what happened out there with you and Juan Pablo?
It was a restart, so everybody's running hard, and we came down the back, and I've got to look at the video, but I thought I left him enough room on the outside lane there, and we were on the straightaway for a little bit, and then all of a sudden I got hooked with force. You know, it's not like we bumped and banged and I squeezed him. I thought we were on the straightaway and everything was fine, and then around I went. So, and I don't think it was something intentional. I don't think he was trying to dump me, but I just have to look at things and see. I really felt like I left him in the room.
We saw Felix Sabates come over and talk to you when you climbed out of the car. Juan Pablo's co-owner. What do you have to say?
He apologized. He said that Juan felt really bad, so I'm not sure if what that may mean. And like I said, I don't believe it was intentional. And the Ganassi guys and Chip, Felix, Juan, we're all friendly. I mean, I hate something like that happened tonight, and I look forward to looking at the video and understanding what really went on, because this is a really disappointing night for the Slows team. We had a shot at winning this thing.
Tough night for Jimmy Johnson, who drops 4 positions in the standings all the way back to 9th here with 2 races to go before the chase.
What do you think, guys? This is not what everybody thought in the old drive for 5.
Well, I mean, he had a good night. They had a good car, and they were executing real well, and just got caught up in a wreck. I mean, actually, I think they've made a little headway.
Yeah, well, they've said that the short tracks hadn't really been the big issue, so we'll see as we go to Atlanta in a couple of weeks and see if they've got some of those things worked out. Yeah, by any means, don't be counting them out because of where they're sitting. They're still, if things are reset and Denny Hamlin doesn't win another race in these next 2, they're still going to be tied for the lead as we go into the chase.
It is his 9th finish of 20th or worse this season. All right, let's talk to the man who suffered through food poisoning and still managed to come home in 2nd, David Rudiman. Vince?
What a great run it was for David Rudiman tonight. 2nd place, and a good battle with Kyle Busch throughout. At one point you talked about if you could get a little better off, you felt like you had a winner. Did you get what you needed to win the race?
Well, Rodney Childers and the guys gave me exactly what I asked for with Aaron's Dream Machine. Unfortunately, the stuff we did to help the exit hurt the center of the corner, and so just couldn't quite get it back to just rotating the center is good. But all in all, a great team effort by everybody. Michael Watcher Racing, Toad and Toad Racing Development, great horsepower, and Aaron's and my team did a good job. I get here, I had to only practice half the practice, and they had to work with 2 different drivers. So credit goes all to my team. Those guys bounce back and forth with 2 different drivers and change into 2 different driver styles, and really proud of my guys and, happy with the outcome tonight.
What kind of confidence builder is it for this team over the past month? You won at Chicagoland, you come here in Bristol, and you run 2nd. What's it say about what you guys are capable of doing?
Well, I mean, we know we're capable of winning races, and but unfortunately, since Chicago, we haven't done a whole lot right, So my team's an excellent team, and I've made a lot of mistakes in between the Chicago race and now that have hurt us. So I'm proud of my guys. They're doing a great job, and we got some good racetracks coming up for us, so we keep digging and see where this deal ends up.
There weren't any mistakes tonight. Great run by the 00. 2nd for David Rudiman.
And he's sitting on the wall because he looks whipped. And I've seen guys, you could fall out of the seat in this track when you're healthy.
It's the most physically demanding racetrack that you'll encounter. 500 laps around here. We didn't have a lot of caution flags, a lot of green flag racing there at the end. David Rudiman deserves a lot of credit. He was giving credit to his crew for a good car, but he deserved a lot of credit for sitting in there tonight.
Celebration continuing down in Victory Lane. Let's check in with Dave Burns.
Well, Clint Bowyer comes home 4th on a night when he desperately needed to do something very, very good. But you fought a loose race car and the speeding penalty on pit road, too. How'd you get here?
Yeah, the speeding penalty was my fault. I apologize to the guys, but I had to get up on the wheel and make it up for them. But Hamburger's Helpful Chevrolet, all weekend long, the guys did a good job. This is what we got to do. We're in the pressure cooker, and the guys are responding in a good way. And I told them to have fun with this. It's my favorite racetrack, and, we had fun with it. Isn't quite what we wanted, but top 5 runs is pretty good. I tell you what, love him or hate him, Little Terry did pretty good. Three races in a row winning right here. That's pretty cool for Kyle Busch.
And Clint, it seemed like tonight had the typical up and down of Bristol. You were in the mix, you were out of the mix, and you ended up in the mix. How do you focus on that all night and do this?
This is that's short track racing at its best. You just got to go out there and race as hard as you can, take what it gives you, and just never give up. I mean, you never know the outcome of this thing. I just knew the caution was going to come out and shake things up, and we was going to have to play strategy and hold on, but it didn't. It was a good night for us, and proud of the guys.
All right, now you have another pursuer Jamie McMurray is now the 13th place guy, but he's 100 points back with 2 to go. How do you assess it?
Well, you know, again, I mean, our cars are running well. I mean, 100 points is a lot. You know, it's a lot more than 35. You know, he did a good job tonight. He drove a good race. His car was good, and I expect they will be. But Mark Martin and Ryan Newman aren't out of this thing either. So we just got to keep digging, doing what we're doing, and they ain't going to catch us.
Great night for Clint.
It was indeed, and not a bad night for Matt Kenseth either. You finished 10th tonight. You had a right front go down, I think, with about 150 to go, and still were able to salvage it. Good night.
Yeah, we ran about 7th or 8th, I guess, most of the night. That's about what we were in a long run. We're a little better. Short run, we're a little worse. So, some reason we popped a right front. I don't really know why. A few of them all went there, and got fortunate the way the cautions fell and stayed on the lead lap.
Yeah, well done. Nice job tonight. 10th place for Matt Kenseth. Jamie Little.
And Coach Joe Gibbs here in Victory Lane celebrating what a night it's been like for you. Coach, what is this moment like for you to sweep the weekend, something no other owner's ever done?
Well, I think the thing we love about sports, there's so many highs and so many lows. The thrill of victory, the agony of defeat. As an example, Denny tonight, you know, we have break a piece, and I felt bad for FedEx, but on this side, this is a real thrill. I think for everybody on the race team, this is extremely hard to do. I know Kyle was geared up for it, and yeah, I went over to his motorhome before the race. I said, whatever happens, I know you're going to give it your best. Just, hey, we'll do the best with what happens tonight. He did the best. I just really appreciate Double Mint and the Mars people. Everybody's been great over there for us. It's been a great relationship. I appreciate all of them, and everybody's not here. We're celebrating for you.
Coach, you were a little bit late getting up here to Victory Lane. Of course, you were over with Denny Hamlin, who had a tough night, finished 34th, and now you're here celebrating. What is it like for you on both sides of the fence tonight?
I tell you, the one thing about 3 cars, it's rarely ever that we leave the racetrack where everybody's happy. And so I guess I've you never get used to that. And this sport is extremely tough. This crowd tonight, was that awesome or what? You're looking up there and saying this is an awesome place, an awesome crowd. Hopefully everybody out there enjoyed it. I just know the Lord's blessed us with a great experience tonight. We're going to enjoy it. And it was a thrill.
Congratulations. Coach Joe Gibbs. Marty?
And the coach mentioned Denny Hamlin having a rough night. Yes, it was. 34th, 27 laps down. And the last 4 Nationwide Cup double sweeps in the weekend have been by his drivers at Joe Gibbs Racing. Well, as the fireworks continue, let's check in with Dave Burns.
Casey Kane endured a little bit of the typical Bristol tonight. Penalized for speeding. I guess penalized for running over something that gave you a flat tire. Which one concerned you more?
I don't know what happened with the flat tire. I just the speeding. I sped around the whole pit road, so I just needed to slow my whole speed limit down. We were just a little too fast there. We did that, and we're good the rest of the race. Just had a lot of cars to pass. Budweiser team did a nice job. Ford engine ran good, and we just weren't quite good enough to run with, say, Kyle and his 00. But we were still pretty good.
I mean, it seemed like, yeah, if you could get up there, then you'd have something for him, maybe.
Maybe. I don't know. I think I got about as far as I could. Clint got me right there at the end. He passed a bunch of cars tonight, too. So I'd say we were about a 5th place car, and we ran 5th.
After your 11th place qualifying run, were you surprised that you ran as well as you did, or did the qualifying really set it up for you and let you know you were going to have a good Bristol night?
Well, I'd say the biggest thing was Kenny Francis and Keith, our engineer. We weren't very good yesterday in practice. We qualified pretty good, and they looked at that and compared things and found a really good setup for tonight. So I was happy with the way the car started. Then we just started passing cars, and we're kind of in the middle of the pack. And it's tough. I mean, everybody goes so hard here. It's tough to pass that many cars in one night. We had a pretty good car.
All right, they did it. And for the 3rd time in his 14 starts at Bristol, Casey Kane finishes in the top 5.
Well, and 4 of those drivers, including Casey Kane, rebounded from disaster or near disaster to finish in the top 10, along with Jamie McMurray, Clint Boyer, and Matt Kenseth. Those 4 managing to do what we talked about. You've got to be resilient, and you brought it up at the beginning of the show.
Yeah, it's just a tough racetrack, and I think that's what makes this young man's accomplishment even more of a great feat. You know, we said and documented he tried to go for this at 4 other times before this weekend. To do it here at Bristol, almost 1,000 laps of racing, and to come out on top in 3 different divisions, 3 totally different vehicles, just shows what incredible talent he has.
Yeah, it almost made this night look easy for him by starting in the rear with his truck, and the troubles that he had last night, he made it almost look easy tonight, although this is a very difficult race to win.
So as we get ready, I mean, Kyle can clinch his spot in the chase for the championship with a 40th or better next week.
Yeah, they put themselves in position there. Once again, those 10 bonus points again tonight got him within 20 of what the two guys up front would have. So a big night for these guys in a lot of different ways.
Yeah, it was just a big night overall. What a great crowd. I've never seen it any better here. It was just a great night overall.
It really was. All right, let's tell you what's coming up on the calendar because we've got a lot coming your way. We'll start off with NASCAR Nows tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Eastern over on ESPN2. And then the Nationwide Series heads north of the border to Montreal Sunday, 2 o'clock Eastern. That also on ESPN2. And Cup Series has next week off, but in 2 weeks, Labor Day weekend from Atlanta, Sunday, September 5th, 7:30 Eastern. That also on ESPN. And we'll send it down to the pit studio for Nicole and you guys to take us home.
Marty, DJ, Andy, thank you very much. Some perspective of the 956 laps led and raced around this track this weekend. Kyle Busch led 515 of them. That is 54%. And Ray, when you sat back and said, wow, this is really something that no one has ever done.
Now, this kid is doing an incredible job, and he is really starting to click now with his new crew chief, Dave Rogers. I think they could end up being a bigger factor in this chase than anybody's given them credit for. And we saw some great racing tonight. All in all, the Have At It boys really didn't come to fruition. The guys really raced well, and we saw some good racing.
Yeah, I mean, hats off to Kyle Busch, Dave Rogers, Joe Gibbs Racing. It's an outstanding feat that these guys accomplished over this past week. Shows the incredible talent that Kyle Busch has. Once again, another tough night for our former champ, Jimmy Johnson, as well as Tony Stewart. Both of those guys fell a little bit in the point system, so it continues to be interesting, Rusty. I think Kyle Busch, though, could be a threat come chase time.
Well, he did a good job, no doubt about that. But some of the guys that really impressed me were Jamie McMurray and Clint Boyer. They got it done when they needed to get it done. They had to catch up in the points. They both really ran strong tonight. A good run out of both of those.
Well, hey, the next week, the Sprint Cup Series takes a breather. We head north of the border, though, for the NASCAR Nationwide Series race at Montreal. That is next Sunday, 2 Eastern on ESPN2. The next Sprint Cup race comes to you from Atlanta Sunday, September 5th, 7:30 Eastern on ESPN. Congrats once again to Kyle Busch, who swept the weekend.
Drivers, start your engine! Welcome to good old Bristol.
And the Irwin Tools 500 is green. Now the 12 of Brett Keselowski can look over and say, hello, Kyle.
The sun has set at Bristol Motor Speedway. It is officially a night race.
3 wide, 00 on the bottom.
Whoa! Johnson gets turned. He's into the wall.
Man, it's not been going good for them.
What the hell? What a weekend. You're about to see history.
That's the weekend at Bristol, baby. Oh, yeah.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our loyal fans for your continued support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.